Hey guys, Dylan and Lissy here. Sorry, not having the very energetic opening like we usually do. Uh, we just need to really address something important that happened this week in the IWC Internet Wrestling community. Um, Something very bad, very disturbing, very wrong happened, and we figured to get it out of the way right off the bat before we do our usual thing, because this podcast is about having fun and talking about wrestling. We laugh, we cry, we get mad, we have happy conversations, intense ones, whatever. But when something like all of this that happened during the week goes down, it's good to see everyone come together. So I feel like it's the best thing that we address this. So I'm gonna have Lissy address it because I will get extremely hot if I address it. So Lissy, take the reins.
You really just threw me to the wolves at this one. I have not prepared at all what I'm going to be saying. Um, I didn't. For context, I didn't know how Dylan was going to be starting this off. He was just like, "You'll hear," and now I'm like, "All right, thanks, Dylan, for that." Um, so basically, I'll do my best to be cohesive with this. For those of you that follow me on TikTok, I kind of said the same thing in my video about this situation. And if you follow me on TikTok and have heard me say that, then you know exactly what I'm about to be talking about. So there was a situation with a person in the IWC that's fairly well known, that went by the name Shiningpolaris. Before I get too crazy into what we're going to be discussing with this, I do just want to keep, just transparency with everything. I've mentioned her, I think, once or twice on the podcast. Her and I were very heavily on the very good friends. We talked multiple times a week, probably for at least over a year now. My time frame's not very well, but I do know that it has been at least a year. So like we're talking almost every single day, like very close friends with this person, somebody that I consider to be a very good friend. Um, and it came out on Tuesday that she had apparently, which I've seen rumors of it go around like as things have come out, but that she apparently had bought in. Well, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. I'm sorry. Again, I'm trying to be cohesive. It's hard for me to be talking about.
Also, there's gonna be some like very. I'm trying to give a disclaimer.
Yeah, there's gonna be
Yeah.
some sensitive topics that we're gonna be discussing. I'll put a timestamp on the screen of when to skip to. If you don't want to be hearing about any of these things, which include like taking advantage of people that are disabled, and animal abuse. Um, is is there any other ones that I should be addressing? Really, there's
Uh,
so much.
there's
There's
so
so
much.
much.
It's fucked up and it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Anyway,
if you're sensitive to just very difficult, like
yeah. There you go.
hard topics, maybe just skip forward. Um, but anyway, let me backtrack a little bit. Again, I'm sorry. It's hard for my brain to be processing any of this. Um, so she was also well known for running a separate account on Twitter and Instagram called the Yarn Box, which were crochet dolls of Nick and Matt Jackson, along with Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page. I know there was like a Moxley one. There's a bunch of them. And you know, it comes out to light that these dolls that she had claimed that she had made, the original Yarn Bucks, along with Kenny, Hangman, and whatnot, were not actually made by her. She had commissioned an artist. Her name is Melodic Arts, on Instagram and Twitter.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, and I believe her Etsy account is just called Crocheted Wrestlers. I think even if you just search Crochet Wrestlers on Etsy, it should pop up. I believe that's the name on Etsy. But if you go to her Instagram or Twitter, you'll find her pages easily on there. Great artist, does great fucking work. So Shining Polaris had bought in these from her. Left reviews, mind you, when they were purchased, along with pictures that she had later on posted to this Yarn Bucks account. And as time went on, she claimed that these dolls were hers and that she made them, and that they were her creation type of situation. Um, Shiningpolaris then later on went on to learn how to crochet and make her own wrestling dolls, which are that in itself is neither here nor there. The issue with this is she has a much larger following than Melodic Arts, crocheted wrestlers, and she basically stole a smaller artist design, product, work, passed it off as her own, as false advertisement that these were not her creations, and used it to capitalize and sell her own crochet dolls that she was making. Which, as an artist myself, I will say is incredibly hurtful to have learned, and is incredibly fucked up in general, that you just should not be doing that to other people's work and to other people, especially when you have a huge following, and in comparison especially to this smaller artist. It's incredibly fucked up and can incredibly fuck up their own business. If you have this huge following, people are going to go to you to buy these, and now no one knows of this other person, because I hate to be this guy to say it, but I did not know of this artist until this whole thing happened. I didn't know that there was an original person making these crochet dolls. Like, I'm not necessarily saying making crochet dolls is, the like only one person in the world does it, but I didn't know that there was someone who specialized in doing them in the wrestling community as well that was not Shiningpolaris. I only knew she did it. So as somebody who, again, is an artist, and sorry, I'm just worried my phone is about to fall. As somebody who is an artist and takes this shit very seriously, that absolutely devastated me in its own. So before going into anything else, again, to just keep complete transparency, for some of you who might follow me on Twitter, might not follow me on Twitter, I will go out and say that the night that all of this had happened, it was, I think, close to 1 a.m. I was not checking my phone, so I didn't see this until the morning, like earlier in the morning when I woke up for work. She messaged me on Twitter, and I don't know off the top of my head exactly like the specific wording that she used, but basically what she said was like, I don't want you to get roped in the middle of this, but my quote-unquote friends have been telling me everything that's been going on. I don't know what to do. This all randomly happened, and now all my haters are coming to try and cancel me. I think I'm going to try and take a short break, but I don't really know what to do. And I was upfront with her, and mind you, again, this is when I only knew about the dolls. I sent my message at 9 o'clock in the morning, and this was only when I knew about the dolls. And I said to her,
everything came out like 3 hours later.
Yeah, everything came out a little bit later. I said to her, like, honestly, I think you need to be upfront about the situation. There's proof, like, unfortunately for you, there's proof of these Etsy reviews with pictures and everything from the original artist's Etsy page, clearly showing that you have said, I love this person's work, I commissioned this person's work, I paid this person to make these dolls for me, this person made these dolls, but you need to be upfront about this. You need to be honest about it. Yeah, people are going to be mad at you, but at least you're owning up to it, and at least you could, even if people are mad at you, you can at least say that you were honest and you came out about it at some point. You know what I mean? But all the odds were stacked against her. And that's what I said. I told her all the odds are stacked against you, and it is way better that you just come out and be completely honest about this. And I didn't have her blocked at this point. I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt with just knowing about the doll situation. Because again, even though I was incredibly hurt and incredibly mad about this, and as she's someone who should know better, I still want to give the benefit of the doubt of like, okay, look, I want to see if you're going to own up. I want to see that you are going to take the responsibility and do the right thing. Because, again, people will be mad at you, but at least they can't say that you didn't own your shit, basically. And I don't know if at this time frame, if she just wasn't on Twitter, it's possible she was, but I'm not 100% sure if she was or not. But she didn't see my message. She didn't respond back to my messages, anything like that.
She was on Twitter because she posted that tweet of like, oh, I've been at work.
No. I mean, after I sent the message at 9 a.m. Yeah. So after I sent my message, I don't know if she was on Twitter, she was active, what was going on. She could have been asleep. I don't really know. But she didn't see my message. She didn't respond to my message. So, that was that. And as the day went on is when everything else started coming out. So basically there's this Reddit page called Square Circle, and someone made a post on the Reddit page saying, hey, the girl who allegedly made the yarn bucks is being called out as a fraud and a scam artist and whatever. And in this thread, there are just a plethora of people sharing experiences that they've had with her.
And this was what day? Tuesday,
This
right?
was Wednesday.
So this We are recording this on Saturday night, right before Collision.
Yeah.
There is still stuff coming out.
There's still stuff coming out.
Every time you open Twitter, there is something new.
So this might get a little bit jumbled as to the days. I'm not going to try and continue along with like a day-to-day timeline, because it's just now me telling you what's going on. So on this Reddit page, is when the big stuff dropped. The main one being coming from, I believe, there was 3 different people on this Reddit thread that confirmed this. There was the friend of the roommate that this happened to, and then a secondary roommate that witnessed said situation. So 3 people. So I saw the one about the friend, the friend from the roommate first, and then I saw the roommate's one, who I'm going to reference to a little bit more, to where this person went on to explain that they were, they lived with Shiningpolaris and whatnot, and that Shiningpolaris had consistently taken advantage of them because they were disabled, that she had, destroyed her property. She had stolen property from her, stuff that was valuable and stuff that I think she even said really was nonsensical and had, no value of it to it. I don't know the specifics, but as a comparison, let's just say something like a Nintendo Switch and then a spoon. You know what I mean? Just, taking random shit of theirs.
A klepto.
Again, they did not say that exactly, just as, a comparison type of thing as to the type of things that she was taking from them. Obviously, taking advantage of somebody who is disabled was number one, something that struck to somebody, but another thing that really took people by surprise that came out was that this that Shiningpolaris had hit this woman's elderly cat, or this person's elderly cat, with a yardstick, and just would just beat this cat with a yardstick, which is fucked. And as someone who has 2 cats, and has grown up with cats and is a very big animal person, has exceptionally disgusted me. And as I'm reading this, I'm not trying to exaggerate, for effect or anything, or for emphasis. I'm trying to be as straight up as I fucking can be. I was at work when all this stuff was coming out, and when I was reading this, I was sitting in the back of our little, our food area that we eat at, and I was just sitting there reading this, and I felt so fucking sick, to the degree where I legitimately thought I might have actually thrown up. I started feeling so fucking sick. And that was, I think, the main. I think this person also said that they were a part of Shiningpolaris, a person that Shiningpolaris also stole cosplays from as or props, and said that they were her own, that she made them, and never gave credit to this person. So that was the main big one that started, not necessarily that the yarn dolls didn't get everything rolling, because that's clearly got everything rolling, but once that came out, it was gloves are off, game over type of thing. And that's when everyone really started pushing this, trying to be hey, this is important. And then the other roommate that had lived with this roommate that all this shit happened to, confirmed the whole story again, along with the friend of roommate, confirmed this. And this other roommate also claimed that, Shiningpolaris was very, accused them of being a drug addict, accused them of stealing from her, basically like just was absolutely treating them like shit, and just not great things, not great things to be doing to another fucking person, basically. So there's that. And then, sorry, I need to hit my vape because this is fucking just not good. Not easy. I'm sorry. Again, this is not easy for me to be talking about. So along with that, there are people that came out from the cosplay community onto this page, basically saying similar things along the lines of theft, where people were saying that she had claimed to have made costumes that were hers, that the costume she was wearing, she claimed to have made the whole thing, when really she commissioned them from somebody else. Same thing with props, that she commissioned them from another artist, claimed that she made them, never crediting these actual artists. There was actually one person who I'm assuming was from the cosplay community based off the fact that they said they were like a professional body painter. That, seems pretty, fitted with the cosplay community. Where they were friends with her in real life, and they basically, were like over her house one day or something, doing like some sort of body paint for her for a shoot or whatever. And that Shining Polaris apparently paid them in Renaissance Fair coupons instead of money, and just gave them coupons to Renaissance Fair. And the same person has stated that they, their friendship didn't last much longer after that because they came out as transgender, and they asked Shining Polaris to, stop misgendering them, and she just didn't. So that's also super fucking cool. I'm only saying they because, again, I'm not sure of this person's pronouns, so if someone who knows who this person is, and is watching this, or if this person's watching this, I'm very sorry. I do not know what your pronouns are. So I hopefully saying they and them is not disrespectful in the slightest. I don't mean for it to be. I just quite literally don't know. And I'm just, there's so, Flighty. So Flighty, who some people might know, is a popular artist on Twitter, wrestling artist. Has a couple deals with AEW, did the babyface brawlers, the little keychains. I have a Hangman on a page one. It's very cute. And they had done a like a fundraiser for I believe it was either an LGBTQ charity or just a transgender community, or charity. I'm sorry. And basically Shining Polaris had donated to this and got a commission, and the wording of it's a little bit odd, and by odd I just mean like this is how I took this story, and from what I understand, Shining Polaris was apparently causing such a hubbub about this whole situation, of the commission taking too long and this, that, and the other thing, and I guess was demanding a refund. And it was just causing a lot of problems for Flighty. And it was demanding a refund for something that was a donation to a charity for LGBTQ plus or just a transgender charity, one or the other. It was demanding a refund. And I guess because she was causing so much of a hubbub, it seems like Flighty did a partial refund, from what I'm understanding, from how they worded it. And did a partial refund back because she was causing this much of a fucking problem. But it makes no sense to me as to why you would want a refund back when your money went to a donation for a charity. Like, that just seems super fucking shitty. A recent one that had just came out was that, going back to the Yarn Bucks, apparently she had trademarked the words Yarn Bucks, so I guess nobody else can use it in some sort of promotional thing, when the Yarn Bucks were not made by her and they were made by a different artist. So now she is trademarked.
That was the newest thing
that came out. She's apparently trademarked the name of dolls that she didn't make. God, what the fuck else? I mean, a lot of people have said that she's just scammed people.
She scammed people over time.
Scammed people a lot about like a lot over tickets, wrestling tickets,
hotel slots or whatever.
Hotel slots. Apparently, there's been a few people that have said that she has accused people of sexual harassment after she refused to pay them back for the hotel rooms.
Yeah.
There's been a couple people that have come out about that. I think I've at least seen three. At least three
Yeah.
people come out and say something like that.
There would just be big people are like sharing the like messages, like they're everyone's going back and viewing like their old messages with her and like, oh man, like yeah, this was right in front of me, how did I not notice this? Like there's one where it's like someone, she was offering to give them tickets or whatever to a show, and
I think that was actually was that the artist of the Yarn
I
Bucks?
think so,
I think that
yeah.
was, yeah,
And
the original artist.
she just didn't have the money or whatever, and she just started like just being passive aggressive and everything.
Yeah, she's like, I literally couldn't afford to go.
Yeah.
And then she just started like this huge hubbub of, I think from what she said was like turning something just innocent into a problem, basically.
And like another thing, like just let me go off for a minute. Like
all right, well, I need a drink of my smart water anyway.
I'm not gonna get too angry. There's
yeah, please don't. I'm already about to
There's
cry.
other things I'm gonna talk about, let's just address it from the top, like right off the bat. Like fuck you. You are a literal piece of shit human being for abusing animals and taking advantage of disabled people. You should be in fucking jail. You are a fucking scumbag. But the thing that just makes me fucking laugh, and like I don't mean laugh as in a joking manner, like the fact that like this is a fucking thing. I know for a fucking fact. I don't know this person. I barely know her. I only knew her from conversations from Lyssie and from Twitter, and I saw red flags way, like, I had a weird vibe about her. But I don't give a fuck who you are. What gimmick? What gimmick?
Oh yeah.
You're accusing people of stealing your gimmick.
Yeah.
You have never stepped foot in a wrestling ring. You've never taken a bump. You probably don't even know what a fucking gimmick is. Shut the fuck up.
So I'll go a little bit into detail on that. So basically there was this person that came out, showed screenshots, proof of her saying this. I guess one of her friends or a person that she made friends with at a wrestling show or whatever, she accused them of stealing her gimmick because they went to the shows and recorded matches and started posting them on social media. And I think that was quite literally it. That's what she was saying, you're stealing my gimmick for, is if you go to a wrestling show and you film and you post it on the internet, apparently you're stealing her gimmick.
And let's also add, because I'm scrolling through my Twitter and just seeing everything that I shared and whatnot. So all of this has taken place on Twitter, pretty much. Like
And Reddit.
But now it's floating over to Instagram and TikTok. Lyssie made a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Other people are making TikToks, but that's besides my point, because people are finding her Instagram and her TikTok, and she is posting currently on her Instagram. Well, I don't know anymore. I'm not gonna lie. I got blocked by her during all of this on Instagram because I was commenting on her post that she's a piece of shit human being.
That's really quick. That's an important thing I didn't get to mention yet. After everything came out about her taking advantage of her disabled roommate and abusing a cat, that is when I blocked her. Because I was like, you are not redeeming yourself from this. Fuck you. We're done here. And then I blocked her.
Because everyone, and like she posted on Twitter, when it was just a scamming thing of like, I'm at work and I haven't eaten anything all day.
This is just when it was the Yarn Bucks, the Yarn Buck situation.
And now that post is gaining traction because everyone's just quote tweeting it, calling her a piece of shit, as rightfully so. Everyone's finding her Instagram and TikToks as she's currently posting on there, acting like nothing happens. What I'm trying to say is, for this little dumb bitch, is you can run, but you cannot hide.
She's not going to be able to come back from it because, like, the crazy thing is, too, that I don't actually think I saw a lot of people mentioning online.
I'm sorry. We need to also address that the Yarn Bucks that she, quote-unquote, made was on BTE.
Oh, yeah. So, not only is she just...
She's known.
Yeah, so not only is she just have been lying to gain traction on the IWC to get her own business growing, she lied to actually more than just the Young Bucks. But she did end up making it on BTE with the Yarn Bucks, and I don't remember the episode number off the top of my head, but it was WrestleMania last year, I think. It was around WrestleMania last year when there was a WrestleCon going on down in wherever the fuck WrestleMania was. I don't remember, but
LA.
LA. And the Young Bucks were there. So she brought the Yarn Bucks there, which we could also talk a little bit about the past of how she got there in a second. And they were filming BTE because that's when they were still doing it. And they got to the Yarn Bucks and they made it on BTE. And there's video of Matt holding the Yarn Bucks and saying, like, I feel so starstruck right now. Like, I finally got to meet them. I got to meet the Yarn Bucks that, this is crazy type of thing. And, like, this whole time, she's like, yeah, I've made them. And this whole time she's been saying that she had made them and that they were her I think she quite literally would call, like, on the Yarn Bucks page, which, is supposed to be, like, the Yarn Bucks running it type of thing. That was the whole, like, shtick of it, was that, like, they would call her, like, her yarn maker, or her maker, or creator, or whatever type of thing. Of like, that, like, it was very clear that she was claiming that these were hers. And obviously she's shared her own stuff, so it was very clear that, okay, Shiningpolaris and the Yarn Bucks, same person, same thing. Shiningpolaris made these. So yeah, she got on BTE for it. The whole 9 yards with that. And again, I'm sure the video's still up. I don't know who the fuck's in control of it anymore. If anyone is.
Did they even do Being in the Dark Order anymore?
I'm not sure. I haven't kept up with it much. But yeah, so that was a thing. And on her way to get there, she did a GoFundMe for the Yarn Bucks to pay for her way there. Now, granted, when I first saw this, I saw it and I scrolled past it because I didn't really think too much of it. I initially was just like, oh, maybe something came up where I don't know, maybe she got the tickets and then an unforeseen circumstance came up where she had to chuck a whole shit ton of money somewhere else, but she still really wanted to go and whatever. And maybe she just made this GoFundMe and just did it in, like, a lighthearted manner type of thing, like, I don't know. But no, she just quite literally just got other people to pay for her to go down there, which the thing with GoFundMe is you could do anything on there and fund for anything as long as you're open and honest about it, but, like, realistically, you shouldn't use it to be taking advantage of people like that. Like, it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm too much of a harsh person for that, but I just feel like, I fucking wish I could be going down to Philly, which I don't live far from. It is not far. I wish I could go down to Philly for all of Mania weekend. I wish I could go to the GCW shows. I wish I could go see fucking Mania. I wish I could go to the Ring of Honor shows, because fuck it, I'm down there. Why the fuck not? I wish I could fucking do that. But I can't, because I have bills, and I don't make a whole hell of a lot of money. And I'm just scraping by and surviving.
We actually work for our money.
And does it suck? And do I wish that I could be going and doing these things and having these experiences? Abso-fucking-lutely. But I am not, by any means, going to ask other people to pay my fucking way, especially in this type of fucking economy that we're in. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But yeah, aside from that, what else were we talking about? Because I kind of just got a little sidetracked and I can't keep focus at all.
Man.
About this.
She's if you watch AEW or even WWE, you will see her at shows. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Have fun, little bitch, trying to go to Philly or even the Chicago shows, because you're going to get your ass kicked. And honestly, you fucking deserve it. That was
what I meant to be saying. I don't know how I just remembered it now. But one thing that I don't see a lot of people bringing up, actually anyone if at all, is when she was in the cosplay community. She still used the same username. She still used Shiningpolaris. She just changed over, like, after she got basically blackballed from the cosplay community, she just changed everything over to wrestling, and just jumped ship over here. And kept the same username and everything. So, like, I've been talking a little bit to this person on Twitter, named named Joey John Nella.
I'm
And
following him, and
yeah,
he's following me.
me too. He's really cool. He's really he seems like a really nice guy.
I gained so many followers out of this whole fucking
You know,
video.
seriously, people just keep following me, and I'm like, I appreciate it, but like, I hope you like the Young Bucks because I also
like,
talk a lot about them.
Yeah, literally, I'm following these people. I'm like, how long are you gonna last?
Yeah.
Because wait until I share an opinion.
Yeah, wait till this stops, and you just see what I normally am talking about. Like, you are not gonna like me. I am unhinged on Twitter. But yeah, no, I was DMing Joey John Nella last night a little bit today as well, just kind of talking about the situation because he was saying, you know, like he's gotten people that like follow him or whatever, and they're like already annoyed about the whole situation. And he's like, no, this is fucking important. I'm like, it is important, and let people be annoyed about it because if she decides to jump ship to a different community or a different fandom or whatever, if she's just like, okay, the IWC hates me and on to the next one, there needs to be as much of a digital footprint attached to her username as there can be. Because, I mean, even if she goes and changes it nonetheless, I mean, sure, might it be a little bit harder? It might, but, like, you still scroll through and see all the things that her account initially was attached to, even with a different username, and you're still going to be able to find the stuff pretty easily.
And for the people that are getting annoyed by this, and the people that are taking her side and being like, oh, don't give her a hard time and all that, fuck you too.
Yeah, like, I don't see it this way. However, I could understand people wondering and not understanding why the Yarn Buck situation by itself is like should be blown out of proportion this way. I see it because again, it's false advertisement. You're stealing from somebody else and crediting as your own thing. And even if you think it's stupid because it's artwork, I mean, I don't know. How does it feel when you're at work and you do all of this hard work and no one sees you do it, and then someone asks who did it, and then your fucking supervisor is like, oh, I did all of it, even though you just spent the past, like, fucking 3 hours doing all this work? It fucking sucks, doesn't it? Because someone else took credit for it.
Because, like, at first it was like, okay, like, yeah, this is really shitty of her.
It's bad.
For scamming people and stealing someone's art. Like, yeah, that's shitty. Like, okay, she can, like, all she really realistically should do is make a tweet, come clean about it, but then all this other stuff came out, and it's like, no, you're a piece of shit.
I could understand why people don't understand why the art thing is such a big issue, because if you don't know artists, if you're not friends with artists, if you aren't an artist, you're not going to understand how much that impacts people, because for some reason people just think that art is this floozy fucking thing that you do just for the fun of it, when realistically your entire world wouldn't have fucking existed without art to some sort of fucking degree. But people don't view it that way, and it's unfortunate, and I hate it, but unfortunately that's just kind of the realistic side of things. You know, it's an underappreciated craft that goes unnoticed way too fucking much. However, with that being said, the people that are still getting annoyed or still not seeing a big fucking deal with this whole thing, when, like, all I really need to say in this slew of fucking things that's going on is, are you really okay with defending somebody who has allegedly abused a cat with a yardstick and beaten a cat? Let me preface, hit an animal that was elderly with a yardstick and taken advantage of a disabled person? Are you really fucking okay with that? Like, yeah, do you really want to be standing up for that fucking person?
Once I read that, because me and Lyssie were talking about this back and forth, everything, and Lyssie, like, messaged me and was like, hey, there's a Reddit post. And I was like, oh? And, like, you were telling me everything, and I was like, I need to see this for myself. I need to see this for my eyes, because abusing an animal and taking advantage of a disabled person, yeah, that hits a little bit close to home.
Yeah.
Like, you're a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. And it's, I don't know. I don't understand how people are trying to defend her
As
about
I look
it.
at both of our cats right now, just sleeping.
Ghost is slumped. Hey, buddy. Aw. Hey, buddy.
You guys did so much today.
Yeah, it's so hard being a cat, right? But, yeah, no. So, I mean, Dylan said it earlier today, and I agree, but also, I mean, it's a tough one to say, right? Um, you said earlier today you wish that the Young Bucks would come out and say something.
Yes.
I have a feeling they do know about it. I really do.
Well, yeah, that was the thing I wanted to say. Like, this is gaining traction to the point where WWE posted one of her videos, and people were commenting on it saying, I wouldn't be tagging her, I wouldn't be using this video, and they took it down.
Yeah.
Lady Frost, who wrestles for AEW and multiple indies, she was right at the start of this with the Yarn Bucks thing at first, and then
continued,
and then it just continued. Like, Lady Frost has been talking about this and everything. That not Joey Janela the wrestler,
Joey Janela.
Yeah,
he's a very big fan of Joey Janela. And he also cosplays Joey Janela.
And they met and everything, so I'm sure they're following each other.
Janela also follows me.
Janela follows you.
Yeah.
Like, it's gaining traction.
And
she goes to GCW shows, right? She's gone to GCW shows.
She's gone to spring break last year.
And you know what's really fucked up about this? Like, not the, like, I'm trying to make this a little bit more lighthearted at the same time and everything, because we've been going at it for 36 minutes. We're probably going to have to stop recording before we go to the next segment so I can have a cigarette. But I just want to make this very lighthearted, because you said it when it was just... You said it like a day before all of this happened. Man, imagine pissing off the TNA fans. She pissed off the TNA fans.
I'm like, dude, the TNA fans are so, like, I never hear anything bad from TNA.
She pissed off.
Like,
No.
The TNA fans. I never hear drama from the TNA fans. They are in their own world. They are already suffering with enough.
They're not tribalistic.
Yeah, they're suffering enough with whatever the fuck is going on in TNA. And they're speaking out about it. There was a TNA fan contest.
Yes.
We didn't get to mention that.
I wanted to talk
where
about
people
that.
were mad about because she just randomly showed up into the TNA fan community and somehow won this fucking fan contest, which I don't have any details about this contest was about.
On Reddit, I believe.
Someone talked about it on Reddit, but I don't have any details as to what it was.
But also, Lissy can confirm this. Dylan working Reddit is like an old man trying to work Facebook.
And I was at work, and it was so fucking hard to explain to him. I'm like, dude, you might have to download the app. I don't know why it's not showing up for you.
I don't use Reddit. I figured it out. But, man, if I don't know how to post, comment, none of that. I was just reading shit.
But, yeah, no. Anyway, going back, I would like to see the Young Bucks maybe say something about it. I'm gonna say take this with a grain of salt, because this honestly could have been a coincidence. I don't know. But, as most of you know, Friday nights I get to stay up late and watch Kenny Omega on Twitch. And because I'm fuck SmackDown. I'm not watching SmackDown. I'm watching fucking Kenny Omega play Street Fighter 6.
Oh, also, I wanted to add to this before we go into that of it gaining traction and everything. She had how many followers at one point? 17?
When I checked, it was 17.8.
She's at 16.9.
Yeah, so she almost lost 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
She honestly, it might have went down since I checked it last, because when I checked it last is when I blocked her. So that was when everything first started coming out. So it might have been higher than that.
There's 69 quote tweets on this tweet.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just people.
But anyway, let's talk about Kenny. So again, take this with a grain of salt. It could have just been a coincidence. However, oh my god, that's Matt Cardona.
Matt Cardona is answering
the Cove Open.
The Cove Open.
Holy fucking shit.
What the
Oh my god.
You're getting our live reaction.
I don't mean for this to be a live reaction. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to just...
We weren't expecting Matt Cardona.
Yeah, I don't... Okay.
He showed up in TNA recently, too.
This is his second appearance in AEW?
Third? We could have saw Matt Cardona if we went to
Shut the fuck
TNA.
up, my car's broken. My car's broken.
But anyway, Matt Cardona's here.
Okay! Our sound's off, but I could read lips, and people are saying, holy shit. God damn. I was not expecting to be looking up, and
I don't care for a quick copyright.
Yeah, I don't...
I just want to hear what theme he's using. I think he's using Always Ready. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure he was
That's
using Always
fucking
Ready.
cool. That's so cool. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry. Let me get to the point of what I'm trying to make. So this could have been a coincidence. However, I was watching Kenny on stream, and people were saying something about Dobby. I don't remember if people were just like, where the fuck is Dobby? I think it was that. I think people were like, where the fuck is Dobby, Kenny? We want Dobby on stream. We don't care about you. Give us your cat, basically. And Kenny said something along the lines of like, oh, let me tell you about Dobby. Let me tell you about what he did today. I had to slap him around. I had to beat him because he was just so cute. He was just meowing, and he just had his stupid cute little face. I couldn't help but just slap him around. And there were people in the live chat that were saying like, oh, Shiningpolaris reference, and oh, Christine reference. And again, that could have just been a coincidence. Kenny's not on social media as much as other people are. But it is very fucking possible that, you know, he he did see it and maybe have just made a mention of it.
Matt Cardona's wearing his Deathmatch King gear.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
That's the funniest. That's even the funnier shit.
Side note, have we seen because my knowledge of, you know, wrestling is forgotten throughout time. Edge versus Zack Ryder? You seen
that never happened.
Well, it's happening right now.
Yeah, it's happening right now.
On AEW.
I need to text Bryce.
Yeah, you need to tell Bryce about this. Bryce, if you're not watching Collision, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because you love this guy. But yeah, so people were maybe speculating that Kenny knew about it. And if it is true, if Kenny does know about it, then the Young Bucks probably know about this. So, you know, I would like to, Lady Frost is on tonight. I wonder if she's gonna say anything. I would like to see one of them maybe say something, or, you know, just even something as easy as like an unfollow.
Yeah.
Because that would speak volumes. You know what I mean? Like, because I know
an unfollow. I huge pop for an unfollow.
I know the Bucks followed her. I don't know if Kenny ever did. But I know the Bucks follow her. And if they unfollow her, then that in itself is saying enough.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I guess kind of before we go into anything else, is there anything else that I might have missed that you wanted to touch on about this? Or...
I think... No, I've said everything I needed to say. I'm
just trying to think if there's anything that I'm missing that I'm forgetting.
I called her a piece of shit. I think we covered everything that needed to be covered on it. If people follow I wouldn't say follow, or if people are following this on Twitter, don't let it die.
Yeah.
And I think we're all doing a good job at that because, I mean, everyone's harassing her on Twitter. Everyone's harassing her on Instagram. Everyone is harassing her on TikTok. And as of yesterday, I haven't checked, but people were starting to find her YouTube as well, which is also really good. So people aren't going to forget. And I don't think people aren't going to forget. A lot of people say you can forgive but you won't forget, but no one's gonna forgive and no one's gonna forget this, because what she did is fucking horrible. It's fucking disgusting. She should be in jail. She should be sued. Send her to the brig. I don't know.
It's been a rough week for me specifically. I mean, I'm sure a lot of other people that are in the same boat as I was, because again, I've talked to her for about a year now.
Almost I didn't get to finish what I was gonna say. I'm sorry. Just don't let it die.
You done?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to make that clear. Don't let it die.
It's been a rough week for me, and I'm sure for everybody else in my same position. Because again, I talked to her almost every single day for about a year, and again, I considered this person to be a really close friend of mine. And I feel like the person that because I personally never had a bad situation happen with her. She was always really nice to me. She did commission stuff for me. She did pay me, like she gave me a really good deal on my Young Bucks jacket that I have. It was a really old one and whatnot, and it's worth a lot of money. And she gave me a really nice deal on it, because we're friends and whatnot. So we're friends. So she never.
Hey, you got a nice expensive jacket.
I did. I got like I got a $300 jacket for like $60.
What a dumbass.
Yeah, like and like $60.
What a dumbass.
But yeah, no, I mean it sucks because it feels like this person that I knew I didn't actually know. And just because I never had a bad experience with her, doesn't mean that everybody else is lying. It doesn't mean that everybody else is wrong. It doesn't mean that everybody else is just a hater. And she wants all of this to blow over. She wants people to forget about this so she can just come back and act like nothing happened. And I don't think it's going to happen, because the second that she does show back up, even, let's just say hypothetically speaking, she comes back a month from now and, people haven't been talking about it as much. The second they see her name, it's going to come all back. It's going to come right back at her. So there's no coming back from it at this point. And realistically, I if I were her, if she ends up knowing about this podcast and has been listening this entire time,
I fucking hope so.
So Christine, if you're listening to this,
fuck you.
I want you to know that I really just think your best bet at this point, get off social media and just live your life as normal, because people might see you out and about in Chicago. They might recognize you from shows, and that's honestly probably going to be more than enough that you're going to have to fucking deal with. You come back on social media, even if it's not for the wrestling community, your name is so heavily tied to this now that you're not going to be able to come back from it. You're very well known, like face-wise, like people know what you look like. So even if you try to go elsewhere, people are going to sniff you out really fucking fast. And if you're trying to go anywhere else in a nerd community, a lot of nerds are also wrestling fans. So, you really don't have a lot to fucking go off of here. Your best bet is quite literally just leave your digital footprint where it is and just, vanish off of social media.
And to really put the ice in the wound, since you were a CM Punk and a Young Bucks fan, that CM Punk reference when he called the Bucks counterfeit Bucks on Collision, now he wasn't referring to the Bucks, he was referring to you, because you're the biggest counterfeit Buck out there.
I mean, yeah, I can't really necessarily disagree with that. And also, just a quick side note before we segue into something else and probably let Dylan go out for a cigarette.
What's your gimmick, by the way? I just want to know.
My gimmick's being a cunt. That's my gimmick.
Hey, yo, fucking cunt.
Hey, yo, bruv, cunt.
Fucking cunt.
But
sorry if that offends anyone.
Just another quick side note before we move on to something else and before Dylan probably goes and has a cigarette. All you fucking marks out there that are taking this and saying, well, this is just more proof that AEW fans are, fucking shitbag people.
It's first not a tribalistic
First of all,
thing.
dickwad breath fucking cum mouth. You're goddamn fucking...
We can't call the episode that.
Yes, we can.
No, we can't.
I run the YouTube. Your goddamn Lord and Savior fucking Vincent McMahon, the fucking guy behind the whole WWE thing.
Did you just compare Vince McMahon to Jesus a day before Easter?
It's their Lord and Savior, not mine.
That is disrespectful to Jesus Henry Christ.
My point, Buff Dylan can stop interrupting me.
Happy Easter.
Is your fucking dude, your guy, right? Is get the fuck out of here. Is in an active investigation for sexual fucking assault, harassment, the whole fucking goddamn 9 yards. The guy who is the WWE guy. And you're gonna sit here and say that this fucking bitch is a representation of AEW fans? If that's where you want to fucking go, that's where we'll fucking go, bitch. But that ain't the fucking case here, alright? So if you don't want to be compared to some gross-ass fucking slob like Vince McMahon, don't you dare fucking compare us to some dumbass fucking bitch like Shiningpolaris, alright? With that being said, Dylan, would you like to go have a cigarette?
Yes, by the power of editing, we will we're not going to steal Jim Cornette's gimmick, but we're going to do a time travel scene. So, yeah. And we're back from those sponsors. Anyway, after that took up like 50 minutes of the show, it's going to be a pretty laid-back, chill episode. We caught up on WWE Rivals. We got some A&E legends to talk about. Dark Side of the Ring. We're going to talk about something that happened at a recent GCW show. Raw. A quick thing from SmackDown. And we're going to answer questions. We got questions that were going to be answered. And I'm the host of the week. And so that means I get to pick Wrestler of the Week. But let's see. How was your week?
Terrible.
Yeah?
Next.
Besides everything.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's not been a great week. I mean, it's hard to kind of be having, like, a solid, fun, happy-go-lucky week, with everything that had happened, because it's been kind of fucking me up. But, I mean, one good thing happened. Dylan bought me the Kenny Omega Ring of Honor figure.
I did.
And I got to watch Kenny Omega live on Friday. So, that kind of made things a little bit better. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about my week, honestly. How about you, Dylan?
Yeah, usual week.
Yeah?
Yeah, the usual. Nothing special.
Well, that's good.
Nothing special. I just have a longer weekend because of Easter and everything. But anyway, let's talk some wrestling. About time.
I guess.
So we caught up on WWE Rivals. We literally watched like every episode here and there and everything. So we're just gonna cover some things. So the first one was Triple H versus The Rock. What do you think of their rivalry throughout all the years, Lissy?
Dude, I'm gonna be so fucking for real with
Like,
you.
we don't have to talk about the cause
I was not paying attention.
Well, yeah, because you were putting together a promo package, but what do you think of the Rock versus Triple H rivalry from the Attitude Era all the way up until now, technically?
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Like, what do you think of Triple H and the Rock in the Attitude Era?
Dog, my wrestling memory is fried.
They were the most over motherfuckers at one point. Well, The Rock always was, and Triple H was. This was like the time where he became Triple H, bro.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, my memory of things is honestly so fucking bad that, like, I'd probably quite literally have to just go back and rewatch their entire saga. Like,
it's a good saga. It starts with Triple H and DX, The Rock and Nation of Domination. They have an amazing ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship, and then they eventually work their way up and have a feud for the WWF title. And now technically the whole board of directors thing going on and whatnot is kind of like a cool little thing they're doing. So it's cool. They're like yin and yang.
well, yeah, I mean, they're both great wrestlers, and, I mean, I think I even remember in the episode from when I was, like, kind of paying attention to it, they were just like, oh, I might not like the guy, but we do great in the ring, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Which I could appreciate that type of mentality, so. But yeah, I mean, it's tough with the rival ones because, again, like, I always feel like I don't remember anything, and especially again with this week, my brain hasn't been on the right track. So,
what about Jake the Snake versus Macho Man?
I mean,
give me your insights on Jake the Snake Roberts and Macho Man.
I love Jake the Snake Roberts.
Cream of the crop.
I don't know.
Be a man, hope.
I like listening to him talk. I could honestly just probably sit and you could just play Jake the Snake Roberts promo packages or promos for me.
Fucking great promo.
And why the fuck is Daddy Ass facing Jay White next week?
Because they're gonna have a trios match at the pay-per-view. Who gives a fuck? We're talking about Jake the Snake.
I'm sorry, I've just looked up. But yeah, you could just play promos for me, honestly, and I could probably just sit here and watch them for hours upon end. Because he's great, and I love him. And again, especially that before my time. But, I mean, Everyone will say it. I'll say it. Fucking snake spot. The snake bite spot. Great.
Yep,
Fucking great.
that. Mach was scared of the snake. I mean, I would too.
Little bitch.
But I don't know if you were paying attention, but
Not really.
Macho Man didn't trust Jake Roberts that the snake was devenomized. So he made the snake, like, he was like, "Hey, you should let that snake bite you before it bites me." And he did.
Oh, man.
It's a fucking snake. Macho Man was wild. What do you think of Macho Man?
He's
I love
a character.
I love Macho Man.
No, I mean, I just had to think about it, because, like, getting bit by a snake to begin with sucks. Like, fucking sucks, like a smaller snake and shit, and, like, I could just imagine how much that had to fucking suck with that size of that fucking
For
snake.
the love of the game.
Seriously. I don't even know if it really was that, because he didn't want to fucking do it.
For the love of the game.
But, yeah, no, I mean, again, like, cool, great, awesome.
What about Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker? Their great Hell in a Cell clash, their casket match, their two WrestleMania matches. Shawn Michaels down to completely opposite fucking people.
I remember watching this or listening to it or whatever, and The Undertaker, like, he was talking about the match where Shawn broke his back, and he was like, I didn't really believe him. Like,
Well, yeah, that was...
is it just Shawn being Shawn,
Yeah,
or is he really hurt?
That
Like,
was
I
at
don't
a
know.
time where Shawn would constantly, like, fake injuries so he didn't have to drop belts to people.
But I just think it was so funny. He's just like, I didn't fucking believe him. I don't know. He could have just been Shawn being Shawn, man. And
Because, fun fact, since WrestleMania is coming up, we can talk about WrestleMania. So WrestleMania 14 was the crowning moment of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He had to face Shawn Michaels. So everyone was scared that Shawn was going to be Shawn, maybe not drop the belt or anything, or not do business. Before Shawn Michaels went out for that match, Undertaker was sitting there by the entranceway, wrapping up his fist, kind of sending a message to Shawn of like, if you don't do business, as soon as you come back here, I'm beating your ass.
Shawn Michaels was a little fucking shit.
He was.
Like, again, I'll say it a million and one times. The only person that can ruin Shawn Michaels for me is Shawn Michaels. So
I love Shawn Michaels. What do you think of Shawn Michaels?
I like Shawn Michaels. I mean, Shawn Michaels was a very household name in my house growing up. Obviously, like anyone who watched wrestling, yeah. But like my mom really liked Shawn Michaels.
Sexy boy.
Shut up.
I'm not your boy toy.
Anyway, my mom really liked Shawn Michaels. So, you know, growing up, it was a Shawn Michaels household. Obviously, my brother loved him too. So, yeah, no, I mean, I've never, like, even learning about how he was, like, a little fucking shithead. Like, again, to my knowledge, at this current moment in recording, I don't know of Shawn Michaels ever doing anything like, you know, assaulting somebody or, you know, being, like, a huge piece of shit. Like, yeah, he was a fucking asshole and a little dick. But, like, I mean, so was Randy Orton. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like kind of that same type of situation where, like, you just grow up and you're like, oh, yeah, I was kind of a dick when I was younger type of thing.
Pre-finding God Shawn Michaels or post-God finding Shawn Michaels?
I mean, I grew up more with post-God Shawn Michaels.
I love pre-God Shawn Michaels.
Because, you know, I mean, like, again, that's just what I've known growing up.
My favorite version of Shawn Michaels is the ex Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
But, Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite version of The Undertaker?
I need you to recite the names to me. There's
So
Ministry.
We got like the original theme on Undertaker from like 90 to 98, and then you have Ministry Taker, then you have the American Badass, then you have Big Evil, which is pretty much just heel version of the American Badass, and then the Theme on again.
I'd probably say Ministry.
Ministry?
Yeah.
I like American Badass. Keep rolling.
I mean, it was the motorcycle was cool and all, but I hate Limp Bizkit, so that's
Move in, now move out.
Just
shout out the Fred Durst.
Just a notch down because of that.
Let's move on to a big rivalry that was part of both of our childhoods. John Cena versus Randy Orton.
Yeah, that was.
It was a big part of our childhoods. What do you think of this rivalry? Remember it? What do you think of John Cena and Randy Orton? Randall Keith Orton and John
I mean, I love
Cena.
Randy. I hate Randy and I love Randy. You know what I mean? Like, Randy Orton growing up, I hated him so much.
He kicked John Cena's head.
Hated it. And
John Cena's dad's head in this.
Never really... Controversial. I never really cared a whole lot about John Cena.
What?
And, yeah. So, like, here's the thing. Like, I mean, John Cena's great. Don't get me wrong. I will not ever say that John Cena is not a great fucking wrestler. But as a kid, I wasn't like, on the John Cena hype train. I was more on the Edge hype train. I was on the Hardy Boys.
You weren't in the Chain Gang? You weren't a Chain Gang
Although
soldier?
Dr. Thugonomics was hands down the best gimmick.
Word life.
Hands down best gimmick.
Chicka.
But yeah, no, I was more into I was way more into Edge, Hardy's, Avenged, CM Punk. I never really cared enough, not a whole hell of a lot about Cena growing up. He was not anywhere in my favorites. But I just always hated Randy Orton. But in as an adult now, in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, I thought Randy Orton was this biggest fucking piece of shit fucking asshole little dickwad, but because I was a child, I was probably thinking he was just a poopy butthole brain. And I just didn't like him. Which means he was doing a really fucking good job. You know what I mean? So now I love to hate Randy Orton because I love Randy. And again, I appreciate John Cena. I appreciate every single thing he's ever done in the business. And I mean, honestly, again, it's just one of those things where it's just like, it's just two fucking fantastic workers always like being able to put on a great fucking match. So, it was one of those things where it was like I didn't like Randy Orton and I didn't care enough about Cena. So it was something that I would be watching because my brother's watching. But I cared more about the other guys than I did at the time.
Well,
which is fucking, I know, probably fucking crazy to be saying.
I always loved their feud. Big part of my childhood. Another rivalry that was part of my childhood and made a lot of us do stupid things in the backyard wrestling scene. That is the Hardys versus the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian.
There we go. There we fucking go. This...
What a feud. What a rivalry.
I mean, Dudleys... Yeah, of course, love the Dudleys.
Man,
but
what a rivalry.
Trying to choose as a child, trying to choose between the Hardys and Edge and Christian... Impossible.
What a feud.
Impossible.
What a rivalry.
Like,
what do you think of their TLC matches?
Also, when just side note, when Edge and Matt Hardy had their whole thing going on, impossible for me to choose a side because of the Hardys. I preferred Matt for whatever fucking reason.
And you had Lita in the middle.
And I loved Edge, because again, Edge was my favorite wrestler growing up and is still one of my favorite wrestlers to this day. And of course, I love Lita, but I couldn't choose a side. How could I choose a side?
What do you think of all the TLC matches they had?
Oh, I mean, it's hard to say on anything else aside from just that was the they set the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they were the foundation of all of this. They set the goddamn fucking bar. And good luck trying to go over it. And obviously, as wrestling has evolved over time, I don't want to say people have ever going to, clear it. But now, we're doing crazier stuff. We're doing bigger spots and whatnot.
But at the time, in 2000 and 2001, no one ever seen that
The thing is, though, even still watching it now, it's still fucking wild. It's still great.
Watching it now, it's like, yeah, I understand why Matt Hardy has jangle legs and Jeff Hardy can't walk and
Yeah.
Edge had to retire
I
for a
think
little bit.
my favorite thing when Edge and Christian won the belts, and I can't remember what they called it, but it was like the scaffold of death or something that they made, where it was the table on top of like the two ladders,
Yeah.
and I don't remember who said it in the episode, but someone was like, "Yeah, it was just such an iconic moment. Like Edge is there standing and Christian sitting because he's scared to stand up," and I'm like. It's crazy. I mean, I get it. That's an extremely unstable structure that they just like fucking threw together. But to like think about how fucking insane and crazy the fucking matches were, especially for the time, and and Christian is scared to just be sitting there.
It's just
to
crazy.
Stand up.
They had the triangle ladder match, and then a few months later,
That's the first time I ever heard it called that way. By the way,
that was just a straight up ladder match.
well, but it was called the triangle match. I was like, what the fuck?
Then they had the TLC match. They had to top themselves. And then they had to top themselves again for the following WrestleMania and another TLC in TLC 2.
And they just did it. Like
TLC 2 is the best one. Oh my god.
They just did it though. Like
It's
every
so
single
good.
time they still just like brought it. And like just, you know, and I mean adding the Dudleys and throwing in that element of like the ECW to like really just say we're fucking shit up and we're fucking it up now.
Well, the Dudleys were the tables guys.
Yeah.
The Hardys were the ladders, and Edge and Christian were the chairs guys.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, just, again, it was revolutionary. And, again, there's really not much else to say about it aside from, like, they really just walked so everybody could run. You know what I mean? Like, they set that fucking standard. And so fucking important to just, not even just, like, you know, high-flying, fun, crazy, fucking insane spots in wrestling, but it's so fucking important to tag team wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, because they were even saying, like, at the time, you know, like, you know, tag team wrestling wasn't really, like, it was a thing, but, like, it wasn't, like, a main staple.
Yeah.
And they were like,
the
well,
Attitude Era.
it can be a main staple, and it should be a fucking main staple. Look at what all these crazy motherfuckers can fucking do together. And it was just so fucking important when, you know, tag team wrestling wasn't really taken as seriously. I still don't think it should be. It is taken as seriously as it should be. But when it wasn't taken as seriously as it should have been, and they were just like, "Fuck you, we're gonna do it anyway." Like, I love tag team wrestling so much.
But yeah, that's I love the feud. Great feud. But yeah, that's WWE Rivals. We caught up on all of it. I don't know what the next episode is, but I'm sure we'll review it.
Also, think it's crazy before we get into Legends. Think it's actually crazy that they really put out an episode about the Hardys and Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
And none of them are there.
Well, even the Dudleys.
Yeah, even the Dudleys, yeah.
I think Devon's the only one that works there.
Fucking crazy.
Anyway, WWE, AEW A&E. Wow, so many A, E, and W's. A&E Legends.
The forbidden door you'll never see.
The British Bulldog. Lissy, what do you think about the British Bulldog?
He seemed like a nice guy. I think that's really all I remember about it.
Love
Was just
the British
when,
Bulldog.
like, this guy seems so nice.
British Bulldog, great. I was very happy, and you can confirm this. I was like, are they gonna ignore like his first stint with Dynamite Kid because like they don't like talking about Dynamite Kid at times because Dynamite Kid was a little dickhead backstage, and Dynamite Kid has his problems and everything. But I was very happy that
They did.
like the first like 20 minutes of it was about Dynamite Kid.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was important.
Yeah, I was
You know
very
what I mean?
happy. I was like, good. They're talking about the British Bulldogs, the tag team, the British Bulldogs, and why he ends up becoming just the British Bulldog
Yeah.
and whatnot. And of course, his match with Bret Hart at SummerSlam '92 at Wembley Stadium, his matches with Shawn, his matches with Owen, great. It's a shame how his career came to an end with the back injury, the fucking trap door. The fucking WCW.
And no one even told him about it.
Yeah, no
one even fucking told him
fucking
about
Ultimate
it. They told
Warrior
no one
and
about it. Like,
WCW and fucking bullshit. But yeah, the British Bulldog, great guy. I love watching the British Bulldog.
Yeah, he just seemed like a nice guy. Like a guy that I would just want to sit down and talk to. You know what I mean? Like just a dude.
Yeah.
And I always appreciate that. Like, when wrestlers just kind of just, like, I mean, they are always just people. Like, they're
just guys.
But, like, sometimes, like, okay, we'll take it for fucking example, because I'll take any advantage to dog on him. Hulk Hogan just isn't a guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, when I hear Hulk Hogan talk, it's not like, oh, you're just a guy.
John
like,
3:16.
I'm John 3:16, dude. Fucking, but, like, you know, like, Bryan Danielson also is a good example of just, like, I feel like listening to Bryan Danielson talk, he's just a guy. I just want to sit down and talk to him about wrestling and stuff.
The best wrestlers are the ones that they just want to tell stories.
They're just dudes, and I love that.
I love picking their brains. Like, when I was in wrestling school, it was always fun where it was like, yo, so I'm going to tell you the story about when I went to the ECW, like, all that shit. It's just fun. Like, and next thing you know, your 3-hour class can turn into, like, a 6-hour class because you're just listening to stories about your trainer, and Paul Heyman and stuff.
You know, not to keep bringing him up, but I'm going to keep bringing him up because I'm in love with him. That's one of the reasons also why, like, I really like watching Kenny's streams, because, like, obviously, like, he's playing video games, but he's also, like, talking to the chat and answering questions and stuff, and he'll talk so much about wrestling and about things that he does, how he like, what he enjoys, and, you know what I mean? Like, it's really cool, because even though you're not, like, obviously sitting there hanging out with him, talking to him, like, in fucking person. Okay, whew, that was scary. Sorry, collision's still on. It's still really cool to just, like, be there and listen to him just talk about things that he likes and that he's passionate about, you know, and he is just a guy. Like, he's just a dude that loves wrestling, he loves video games, he loves being a nerd, and you just get to hear all about it, and it's just, it feels so personable, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's some wrestlers out there that just feel so fucking personable, and I just, from the interviews, like, I just felt that way about the British Bulldog. Like, you know, he just felt like that same type of guy.
All right, moving on to the most recent episode of Dark Side of the Ring on the Booty Man, Brutus, the Barber Beefcake.
Okay, so I'm going to be so fucking for real. I was not paying much attention to this because of the whole Yarn Bucks thing going on. Because this was Tuesday.
Was it going on?
This was Tuesday.
It was going around at this time?
I was really not paying attention.
Anyway.
So I need you to kind of talk about this one.
Anyway, Brutus Barber Beefcake. He got in the business because he is friends with Hulk Hogan. Mm-hmm. And
I hate Hulk Hogan.
He got into a horrible parasailing accident and lost his face. That's pretty much Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And
I missed the whole thing about how he lost his face.
He was in a parasailing accident. Some lady just fucking came right by him and fucking face was hanging off and lost his face. FTR won. Good job. But yeah.
So, like, what do you mean, like, some lady came, like, in another parasail?
No, he wasn't parasailing. He was, so they wanted to like, if I understand, because I'm not gonna lie, I forget. I smoke a lot of weed. But from my recollection of it is he was standing there and the lady was, like, they were parasailing, but he wasn't parasailing. He was just standing there on the ground or whatever, and these people came, like, the lady came, and there was, like, no wind or whatever, but then the big gust of wind came, and her knee, like, hit his face and, like, just fucked up his face completely.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah. The Booty Man.
Yeah, that's
He was the Booty Man. Let's transition into... Oh, the next episode's Harley Race. That's going to be a good one. Anyway, let's transition into one of the most recent GCW events from last week. The Block is Hot, their Rochester, New York debut. Nick Gage and Dan Housen teamed up.
Yeah.
And they did not win the tag belts. But now they're doing a storyline of I Thought We Were Friends, and Nick Gage and Maki Ito are going to face Dan Housen, and I forget who he picked as his partner, but it's going to happen at Spring Break. What do you think of Nick Gage and Dan Housen facing each other?
I'm pissed that I'm not going to Spring Break.
Me too.
That's my main thing, is anytime fucking Janela's Spring Break is brought up, I'm so angry I'm not going. because I want to go. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe that WrestleMania's going to be in Philly. And it's in a, reasonable driving distance from us. And that means spring break's going to be here. And we have to go to spring break because we're never going to get to go to spring break again because it only goes where Mania is. And we're probably never getting Mania back in Philly. And I missed the tickets. And I'm still going to be mad about that for the rest of my entire fucking life because the likelihood of me ever going to one now is severely shortened. However, I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be a really fun match.
It's going to be wild.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see that. I mean, Mania weekend, it's next week?
Yeah.
Mania next week?
Yeah.
Next week, I'm not ready.
Next week's episode is probably going to be a fucking 2-part episode.
Yeah, I'm so unready because, I'm not mentally prepared for the amount of wrestling I'm about to have to intake, but...
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of wrestling.
We'll see.
Speaking of wrestling, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Probably one of the best episodes of Monday Night Raw in a long time, in a recent time. Let's combine the opening segment and the closing segment here. So let's talk about how they started off the show with the best babyface in the business and the best heel in the business, and no one even knew that The Rock was going to be there.
Yeah.
Cody came out to do his thing, and The Rock showed up, and they didn't say a damn thing. They just stared at each other, and The Rock whispered in his ear. Cody looked like he was shook, and we just went on about the episode until the closing segment where it was Attitude Era pretty much of whole big brawl happened. Rock attacked Cody backstage, beat the fuck out of him with the weight belt, was calling out Mama Rhodes, made him all bloody, and said, "This is what happens when you fuck with the final boss." What do you think about all of this? This was wild.
I can't wait for Mania so it stops.
This was wild.
No, I mean, it was a really good episode of Raw. I'm not gonna... The one thing I will say, I think it was funny that The Rock whispered to Cody Rhodes, "I'm gonna make you bleed," and Cody Rhodes was, shook. So shook to the core. Oh my God, I can't believe he just said that to me. I am so taken aback and so... Oh, whoa, I'm so scared. I'm so nervous. Cody Rhodes hasn't been seething to be busted open since he got back to WWE.
The rain added so much to it, too. Mm-hmm. That it was raining. It was just so cool. Wow.
Yeah, no, this was the first time in a long time that Raw really had me, locked in and watching.
Yeah,
good for them.
Let's talk about a match that you wouldn't think would have been amazing. By the way, this match got 4.25 stars from Dave.
Okay.
JD McDonough versus Ricochet. They had... I'm going to list these off. There was a Spanish Fly, a Poison Rana from the top rope, and a Canadian Destroyer in the opening match on an episode of World Wrestling Federation Raw's War.
So...
What happened?
I will say this 10 times fucking over. I don't care if it's controversial. I don't care if people want to pick on me for it. WWE fans of current day do not know that they like fun, flippy shit wrestling
until it happens.
Because they're not exposed to it enough. And look, what I'm saying this is I get it that everyone has their own taste in wrestling, and that's fine. Everyone's cup of tea isn't going to be the same. Some people like milk in their tea. Some people like sugar. Some people just drink it straight up. I don't know. Nonetheless, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. However, that crowd was so fucking into it.
They were hot as hell for it.
They fucking loved it. People don't know that they like this thing because it seemed so demonized for the longest time when, WWE just kind of became this bland, boring, soulless, tasteless fucking show that was loosely interpreted around wrestling.
I'm just watching it, or I'm just amazed by it because it's a fucking cold ass match between Ricochet and JD Funko Pop McDonough.
But it was good.
Yeah.
It was really fucking good. And again, people were into it, and there's, there's no fucking shame in popping for a fucking Canadian. You don't know that you're gonna like it until you fucking see it, and I feel like WWE really had people in the palm of their hands with it, and they need to showcase it a lot more. They really fucking do.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I love that match.
Let's talk about probably the segment of the night. The professional wrestling segment of the night. Cody and Rock segment was also professional wrestling, but this segment was really good. The CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins segment. CM Punk came out, talked about eating pussy, almost name dropped Vince McMahon, and gave a shout out to Jim Cornette. That man was unhinged in Chicago.
Yeah, I liked Drew being a sassy little bitch sitting on the announce table.
Yeah.
That's what I liked. Drew was just a little fucking cunt the whole time, and that's all they were doing. They were just
they were going back and forth.
They were being, especially even with Seth there, like, they were just being little fucking cunts to each other, and I love that so much. I was like, oh my god, guys, just fucking kiss.
Listen, tell the people how much I popped when Punk goes, I don't listen to the Pat McAfee show. I listen to the Experience in the drive-thru. I was like, yo.
You popped way too fucking hard for that.
I was like, no way, he just said that.
And then it was even funnier because, like, we go on Twitter later on and Bob's like, huge pop for Cornette drop in my house. And I'm like, oh my fucking god, I'm surrounded by idiots.
It was wild, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Collision starts at 11:30 next Saturday.
Dude, this is a fucking wreck. At least I don't have work on Sunday.
It's gonna go on until 1:30. Anyway, yeah. Any other things about the segment?
I just like that they're cunty. Oh, and also CM Punk did the not to keep dwelling on people for saying stupid shit, but CM Punk did the making fun of Seth Rollins things right by just saying like, oh yeah, we used to see eye to eye, but now he's like 3 inches taller than me because he started wearing heels. Like, that's funny. That's fucking funny. If you're gonna make fun of somebody for the way that they dress, be creative about it. Anyway,
quick little thing from SmackDown. Jade Cargill.
Yeah, love her.
She's gonna have a Mania match.
Is she having a Mania match?
She's teaming with Bianca and
Trinity.
Yeah, and Naomi. To face Damage Control, Dakota Kai and the Kabuki Warriors.
Oh, that's gonna be so good. Yeah. That's gonna be such a fucking good match. Yeah. Holy shit. Good for Jade. I would say I saw that it ended with the three of them standing in the ring in front of the Mania sign.
Yeah.
Which is fucking awesome. Yeah, I was a little like, until I saw later on that she came back out, I was like, okay. I was a little bit like, come on. We gave Jade 60 seconds. We've waited this fucking long and we just gave her 60 seconds. Come fucking on.
It's that Triple H booking of
star power. But yeah, no, I'm glad that we got to see her later on. I'm glad to know that she has a Mania match. That's fucking awesome. Before we get into anything else, I know you didn't write it down, so I'm speaking about it. Dynamite. Nick Jackson slipped.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really watching Dynamite
because
at all
the whole
this
thing
week
going
because that's when a lot of things just started happening with everything, and it was just like at the same time it was like I can't really watch wrestling right now.
No, see, the thing is, with all the shit going on, knowing that the Bucks were gonna be on my TV screen, I needed to see them. I needed some sort of little bit of joy. And Nick Jackson accidentally slipped doing the EVP trigger. And, poor guy. That was funny, though. I feel bad for laughing at him, but, you can't be perfect all the time. So it was a little silly. And Dynamite was fine. I enjoyed Dynamite. Again, there wasn't a whole lot to touch on, and again, we were kind of distracted while also watching it and everything. But yeah, the Young Bucks are going, they're going to be against Best Friends next week. So that'll be fun. I love Trent. I love the Young Bucks, and I don't mind Orange. So
anyway, we're gonna answer some questions.
Okay.
Some questions time. We got quite a few. Some are haha funny joke questions because why not? But some are they want to know stuff. So I'm gonna read them off. Some obviously, there's some that are really directed towards me, and then there's obviously both of us can answer them and everything. But I'll read them off, and we'll go through them. So here we go. I'm not gonna read off anyone's names or anything. But what's Scott Steiner's actual win-loss ratio?
I know who asked that.
Who?
That was Bryce, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, come on! No. That sounds like something Bryce would say.
Anyway, 33-1, there's chance. I don't know. I just thought it was
141%, 141 2/3% chance that I'm complaining about something on Twitter.
Do you know when they switched the boxing ring to a wrestling ring, referring to when WWF had a boxing ring and switched to a wrestling ring? I want to say I've heard this before. I don't think you would know, right?
I have no fucking clue, dog.
I want to say, because I've heard it before, 1985, right when the Rock and wrestling thing was going on. I believe they were using the boxing ring. A lot of people get this informed. WrestleMania was not the first WWF pay-per-view. That was on closed circuit television. The first WWF pay-per-view was actually after WrestleMania, called the Wrestling Challenge or Wrestling Classic or something like that. They are using the boxing ring, I believe, in that show. But after that show, it was no longer a boxing ring. It was a straight-up wrestling ring.
I did know that first WrestleMania was a boxing ring.
Yes.
But I have no idea anything after that, so.
Yes. Who is a wrestler that you think you can beat?
Jim Cornette. He had a match before.
Bryce Van Pelt.
No, come on. Give me one.
Bryce Van Pelt.
Give me one that's on the television.
Dante Martin.
Not legitimately on our television right now. Who's someone you think that you could take one-on-one?
I just have to hang in the ring with them. Is that has
beat?
To be?
You have to beat them.
I have to beat them. It's a work though.
Isn't that what it says? Isn't that what the question asked? Someone you could beat?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a work. So I'd have to politic my way? Hulk Hogan.
He's not gonna fucking do the job for you, brother.
Yes, he will.
I think I could beat Jim Cornette in a wrestling match. Because even though he definitely knows more than I
Jackson.
do, that's such a fucking incorrect statement.
Matt Jackson.
No, you can't.
Matt Jackson.
No, you couldn't.
Matt Jackson.
No, you couldn't.
I'd rather wrestle Nick Jackson, so there we go. Lyssie, what's your opinion on the reverse battle royal?
Oh my! Why? Was this Bryce?
No.
Why do you fucks keep talking about a reverse battle royale?
I hate the reverse battle royale.
Dude,
It's dumb. Vince Russo's dumb. What's your opinion on the reverse battle royal?
Clearly, I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
I think it's the fucking dumbest goddamn fucking thing I've ever heard. Ever fucking heard. Why in the world would you want to fight somebody outside of a goddamn wrestling ring? Why would you want to waste your time fighting somebody outside of a wrestling ring for a chance to get in the ring when all of these other idiot fucks are outside fighting these people to get into the ring, and clearly you just don't have to pick up somebody, you can just walk in.
Yeah, I know, it's dumb as fuck.
And then you have to try not to get thrown back out of it.
It's dumb as shit. I hate the reverse battle royale. It's dumb as fuck. It's stupid. I fucking hate it. Anyway.
One of the worst fucking concepts for a wrestling match I think I've ever heard.
Anyway. This can be directed towards you because you were once a manager and you had to take influence probably. Who was an influence on your wrestling? I'll let you go first.
Oh, that's tough.
So who was an influence?
Actually, honestly,
for managing?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's the best way of putting it, really. China. Because I didn't say a whole hell of a lot.
No.
I was not really, a talking manager. I was an inconvenience.
Yeah.
That was my biggest thing of, I did kind of give a little bit of sass here and there.
Yeah,
my job...
You were a different type of manager because you were stuck with two people that can talk.
Yeah, my job more so was make it harder for your opponent to do their job, basically.
Yeah.
And
you were the distraction.
I'm really good at being a nuisance, in real life, and just being an inconvenience in real life. But because, I I can talk, like, and I'm not just saying that if, like, oh, I can cut a promo. No, I could yip yap and say a bunch of stupid fucking shit and come up with an insult off the top of my head that's probably funny. Like, I can do that. But I didn't need to because, again, you and Bryce were so fucking good at it already that you didn't need a third person to say anything for you. So my main goal wasn't really to do that, but to convey still being a nuisance, and causing issues. And because, China wasn't really, she was the heavy. You know what I mean? She was their heavy.
Yeah.
So
Me
and
and
it was,
Bryce needed a heavy.
and that was kind of the same thing. Like
We needed a heavy.
you and Bryce are very much the Triple H and Shawn Michaels. You could talk, you could say a bunch of shit, you could piss a bunch of people off.
No, see, we were more so compared to Rated RKO.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair too.
Because we were fucking cockheads.
I'm just
bro.
saying, like, in the comparison of me using China as an influence,
Yeah.
was like, you guys were already over there doing your silly fucking stupid shit. But when the time came and you needed someone to kind of like, which is funny, because for those of you who don't know me in real life, I'm 5'1", I'm about 110 pounds, and Dylan's like 6 foot tall. Bryce is maybe a little bit shorter than you.
No, he's taller than me. He's like 6'1".
Bryce isn't taller than you.
Yeah, he is.
You have the growth spurt.
He's been taller than me.
Never noticed. Anyway, so okay, Bryce is also same height as Dylan, if not a little bit taller. So I'm this, like, I'm about like a foot fucking shorter than these fucks.
We would hide behind you.
Yeah, I am a foot fucking shorter than these fucks, and I'm the one that's causing the distractions, causing all of this nuisance and whatnot. And
well, even speaking of my favorite wrestling run I've ever had at the NUW run, which we'll be talking about more and more when everything comes out and whatnot. It starts technically tonight. They're just uploaded their Roulette Rumble. It's live on YouTube actually as we speak right now. But like every match that I have in NUW, spoiler alert, it's not just even if it is a one-on-one match, it's not, because it's technically a handicap match because Lyssie gets involved. Mm-hmm. Like, Lyssie is the distraction piece for me.
I like being an inconvenient bitch to everyone around me, and it was able to translate well over into wrestling. Again, I felt like there was a lot of things that I could have done a better job at. Like, when I was, like, 'cause I was really nervous every single time, like, I had to do anything, even though, like, for the most part, I'm like, these are our friends, and, our friends aren't gonna be like, they're all doing the same thing for the most part, you know what I mean? We're all here for the same exact thing. But, I didn't want to make Dylan and Bryce look stupid. I didn't want to make them look like dumb for having me around. So, like, I was really nervous going into it and just being like, and especially, like, I won't give any spoilers away, of course, but just saying, like, as I did get more involved in things, like, I started getting nervous that I was gonna, like, fuck something up or like legitimately do something wrong or whatever. And so I was always really fucking nervous going out there, and I felt like, I wish I didn't feel as nervous as I did, because I feel like if I didn't, I would have been able to do things a little bit better and maybe say things in a better tone when I did say things, or maybe like visually look a little bit more different, like more animated type of thing. But, I mean, nonetheless, I still think, like, it got the message across, so.
No, it always worked. I always enjoyed it. Everyone always enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was very, like, it still doesn't make sense to me that people were, like, legitimately liked what I did.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, was it really that, like, impactful?
No, people liked what you did. It was good.
But anyway, you didn't answer yours. Who was your influence?
Oh, man. I mean, wrestling-wise, Punk and Jeff Hardy.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Promo standpoint, Punk and Raven. Depending on what gimmick I'm doing. A little bit of, like, DX as well. Because there would always be a little bit of that fucking juvenile comedy in there and everything. When I was the Sunset Strip Stallion, this whole NUW run pretty much was influenced on Shawn Michaels, the Rock and Roll Express, and the Midnight Express. That's just a wild blunt rotation.
Yeah.
But the Sunset Strip Stallion was a big influence from Shawn Michaels and the Rock and Roll Express, but also 80s hair metal. Tommy Lee, Nikki Sixx, Bret Michaels.
I've mentioned a couple times too, I think, that like when you were like a heel and kind of like a cocky, funny heel, you reminded me a lot of Kenny.
Yeah, there was that.
Yeah, you had a little bit of influence of like just like comedic.
Yeah.
Like the comedic villain type of thing that like Kenny always did. Like I got a lot of that also.
Yeah, I think I more so took inspiration from Punk when I was a babyface.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those because I knew I was the shit. Like I was the guy. I am the top guy. But also I have this checkered past in my wrestling of always being a piece of shit. So like who can really trust me kayfabe wise and all of that. So that's what that whole thing was. But I mean, man, there's just a lot of influence. There would be shit where I'd be watching a match, and it'd be like a random match, like Bobby Eaton versus Chris Jericho from Nitro in like 1996 or whatever, and be like, you know what? We're going to take this sequence from this match, and we're going to incorporate it into this match. Or like, oh man, like, I don't want to give away too much, but like, I'll just say Graves. Like, every time I worked with Graves, it would always be like, oh man, what would the Midnight Express and Rock and Roll Express do?
You guys are such nerds.
We would, like, there was just always, I don't know what the fuck's going on. There's a whole lot of confusion going on here. I don't know what the fuck just happened.
I think what had happened, so for context...
I think Ricky's hurt.
Yeah, Ricky's hurt.
Yeah, Ricky looks hurt.
So we're going to give a little bit of context before we go back into questions. We are watching Collision. Yeah, because they're not panning back over. Top Flight versus Big Bill and Ricky Starks. They had this, like, pinning predicament, which was... It looked really fucking cool. And it looked like the shoulder... Yeah, Ricky's hurt. It looks like they had their shoulders down. Like, Ricky had his shoulders down, but he didn't, I guess. And Christopher Daniels is now on the screen. I love Christopher Daniels.
I thought he was banned from Collision.
No, Punk's gone. Love Christopher Daniels. And it seemed like that might have been fucked up. It seemed like that was supposed to be the finish. But it wasn't, and people were like, what the fuck? And then I think what it looked like was Top Flight went to go do, like, running off. It might have been Dante, or I don't know who was doing what exactly. I kind of just caught it in, like, the corner of my eye. It looked like it might have been supposed to be like a DDT, maybe? And basically, long story short, it looks like Ricky landed right on his fucking dome. And I think they went to pin him, but something was wrong, and then Big Bill just ran in. What are they saying on the Twitter?
So, supposedly what happened was, that finish that was all fucked up was supposed to be the original finish, but Ricky didn't kick out, and he clearly didn't kick out, and it was a whole Mox and Ray Phoenix type thing again. And they just fucking reset themselves and just did another fucking finish.
Yeah, but...
Anyway.
We'll go, like, you'll have to see the clip, or we can rewind it.
Anyway, it would also, going back to influences and everything, it would also depend, like, what type of match I was working. Because it can also be like, I'm working a hardcore match? What am I feeling like? Oh, let's, like, watch a Cactus Jack match and just get ideas.
Yeah.
Shit like that. There's so many influences that go into things and whatnot, but, like, ones that always stuck with me was Jeff Hardy and CM Punk and Raven. Like, those were always the big ones that always, like, stuck with me.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Side note before we go into the next question, Ricky Starks, if you are actually hurt,
get well soon.
Go well soon. Hope your recovery's good. And because of the way that looked, for your sake, I really hope that's not another neck injury.
Yeah.
Because that did not look too good. So Ricky, hope you're okay.
Anyway, what do you think the most interesting thing in wrestling is today?
The Young Bucks. And like I'm not okay.
There's
I'm
so many other fucking things that you could have said of like, you know, WWE versus AEW. That competition's good. You could have said how much hot WWE is getting, or like, oh my god, AEW signing Okada and Will Ospreay. No, the fucking Young Bucks.
let me
I
let
hate
me
this fucking podcast.
let me fucking elaborate. Goddamn. No, I mean like it does tie more into just AEW's general existence. But you know, the Bucks also. So basically what I mean by that is just like you know what? We'll encapsulate all as the elite. And I'm not trying to just keep a bias with this. Like I genuinely mean this is like it has been so long, quite literally, since WCW, that we have had the rivalry between WWE and another company. And the thing that I just think the most interesting is just quite literally AEW and the Bucks and the Elite and what they all did to get to the point to form AEW and what they've been doing with it. And how, yeah, it's very clearly a rivalry. It has happened very quickly, but also, whether you love it, whether you hate it, whatever the fuck it might goddamn be, you can't deny the fact that it's successful. And it has proven to, it's about to beat WCW, like with the amount of episodes I think of WCW Nitro.
I was gonna say it's not beating WCW.
WCW
yet.
Nitro.
It's
sorry,
beating Nitro.
So it's about to beat the amount of episodes between WCW Nitro, and it clearly is not showing signs of slowing down or stopping. And the fact that like the amount of shit that AEW does get, the fact that it is still running so hot that it is, and it's still so prevalent as it is, to me is just like there's something here. And I mean obviously there is because I fucking love it. But I think that it's interesting to me because AEW formed back in 2019. And before 2019 hit and AEW hit, the Elite over in Japan and Bullet Club were hands fucking down. Bullet Club was the hottest goddamn fucking thing on the planet. And it really gained its popularity and its traction when Kenny was the leader, when the Bucks were there, when Hangman was there, when the Elite took over, when Cody was there, when it was centered around the Elite. And the thing that I just find so interesting, and granted, don't get me wrong, you know, that was their prime. That was the Elite's fucking prime. And I'll never say that it wasn't, and it's not. But with how many wrestling fans jumped over to New Japan to start seeing what was going on with Bullet Club because Bullet Club was gaining all this traction because it was getting so fucking hot, and with how popular it was at that fucking peak. And then to see the Elite be like, hey, fuck all this, but also fuck the Fed. Let's do it our own fucking way. And then go make AEW
Calling it the Fed.
and have it end up being this huge promotion rivalry to WWE, and seeing the shift of wrestling fans once AEW was created from it going to we love the Elite, we love what they're doing, we love New Japan, we love Bullet Club, cool, there's this AEW thing now. Actually, no, now fuck the Elite, fuck the Young Bucks, because they didn't go to the other wrestling promotion, they did it by themselves. And to just, it's the wrestling fans in general are so interesting because they're so quick to change, they're so quick to switch up things. And I think that the Elite are a really good prime example of how quick these people are to change just because things didn't happen how they thought it was going to or how they wanted it to, and because it didn't go that way, that they're angry now. Because I'm sure 90% of people assumed once the Elite were done in New Japan, they were coming right over to WWE. I'm sure a lot of people assumed that. Granted, I missed everything in New Japan. I missed all of Bullet Club, so I don't 100% for certainty can say what they were thinking as this was going on because I was not in the wrestling community at this time. However, just from the track record, it is so fucking interesting to see that and how quickly it changed and how quickly it shifted. So I think that AEW as itself is like very interesting, but I think that the pattern of the Elite from going from one hot degree to just completely split down the middle of the IWC is kind of fucking crazy. And it's to me that's just really interesting because again that showcases the way that wrestling fans are. And to me the fan behavior is just very interesting to watch. And also I like to make fun of people for it. But yeah, no, I mean I that might be a little convoluted. And that might be a very kind of almost indirect answer, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, just the weird, clear-cut divide down the middle from everybody loving the Bucks and Kenny, to just 50-50 split. Love him or hate him. It's really weird to me. It's really fucking weird to me.
Are you done?
Wow, rude.
That
yeah,
was
I'm
such
fucking
a long
done.
answer. Jeez. Can I have a sip of that? Is that flavored water?
It's cucumber lime, you'll hate it.
You
have a soda.
No, I don't.
Yes, you fucking do, you stupid fucking lard.
Where is it? Oh, it's down there.
It's right here.
Give me that. My mouth is dry.
Yeah, so is mine from just giving a 20-minute long answer.
Yeah. The most interesting thing to me that's going on in wrestling today is the road to WrestleMania. Because, like, none of this was supposed to happen.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Like
it's a wild ride.
You're witnessing real life panic button hitting right at the fucking, like, you're just seeing it. It's interesting. I always enjoy the road to WrestleMania, even if it's ass. It's cool to see like where it's gonna go.
I think they need to stop saying that the winner of the Women's Rumble is going to get a WrestleMania main event if they're just gonna keep fucking dodging it.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, okay, so I get it in this situation. It was a little fucking different.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't supposed to be this way.
Things happen.
Yeah, things happened, but I feel like they also might. I mean, I get it. Like, oh, you're not gonna have The Rock be the main event. Shut up, Dwayne. Your time has been done and over with for a long time.
The Rock needs to be the main event. Anyway, next question, because I'm not gonna give a 20-minute answer.
I need to explain myself.
What are your top 3 what ifs in wrestling? Do you want me to start? Because I can do many right off the bat. And
yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if I'll necessarily have a top 3.
But let's start with 2 of them that a lot of people always ask. What if WCW won the war? Mm-hmm. Or, like, what if WCW was never bought out? What if it never had the decline? And same thing with ECW. What if ECW never went bankrupt? What would be happening? What would have happened in 2001 when this all happened? What if? Another one. What if Owen Hart never fell?
God damn it! I was gonna say that.
That one. Like,
I was gonna say that.
That's kind of an easy one because there's been rumors out there of he was going to retire by the age of 30, and he was already pushing 30. So it was one of those, like, Owen didn't really want to be in the wrestling business. He was a family man.
Yeah.
He just became a wrestler because he was in a wrestling family, and that was a way to make a lot of money.
Well, I guess kind of, I don't want to say piggybacking off that, but in the same vein, one of my biggest ones that I do think about actually a lot is what if Eddie Guerrero never passed away?
What if Eddie Guerrero never passed away? What if Benoit never did what he did?
I mean, I always, like, I don't want to say no tea to Benoit because Benoit did a fucking, but, like, I always think a lot about Eddie because, Eddie was, God, dude, like, fucking Christ, like, I don't even know how to, like, just straight up goat, like,
yeah.
Like, in all reality, like, I'll have my current day goats, but if you really to ask me overall goat, it's Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Hands fucking down, it's Eddie Guerrero. And, obviously, I don't think he would still be wrestling this day and age, but, like, I wonder what would have happened as he continued on, and if he was still around today, I wonder what he would be doing. Would he still be in WWE doing stuff behind the scenes? Would he have just completely left the wrestling business in its entirety? would he have jumped ship from WWE and went to a different promotion to help behind the scenes? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We're not gonna know. But that's when I think about a lot, because like Eddie, I just feel like was like, that was just such a big fucking hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I still get sad thinking about it to this day. Because I fucking loved Eddie Guerrero growing up. I thought he was so fucking cool. I thought he was the coolest motherfucker. And it was like heartbreaking to me and my brother when we found out he passed away. Because he was one of our favorites, and we never got to see him again. You know what I mean? And saying that to a bunch of kids, dude, like, that fucking blows.
I brought this up earlier when I was just talking randomly, but what if Bruiser Brody never died?
Mm-hmm.
Would he have gone to WWE? Would have we gotten Hogan versus Brody and all of that?
You know what? I'll give another one piggybacking off of my 20-minute long answer. What if AEW never founded?
I was gonna say like, what if AEW never started? What if the Elite went to WWE?
Well, my biggest thing with that is just because, like, in general, AEW's existence pushed WWE to do better.
What if...
So what would WWE be like?
What if they lost the bet with Dave Meltzer? They didn't sell out All In.
Yeah.
What if Brawl Out never happened?
Yeah.
What if Punk never left WWE in the first place? Like, there's a lot you can just... There's a lot, like... Just trying to think, like... What if Vince Russo never went to WCW? Or, like...
What if Flying Brian never became the loose cannon?
What if Brian Pillman never shattered his ankle?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like...
What if he never... Well, he was on the verge of becoming the loose cannon when he shattered his ankle, but...
Oh, I thought it was he did that because he shattered his ankle.
No, he left WCW and that whole work shoot thing, and he went to ECW, and he was pretty much... That was the, like, beginning stages of the loose cannon.
Oh, okay.
The loose cannon became more of a thing when he was injured.
Okay.
Because... it was more so cutting promos and doing wacky shit. But
well, yeah, see,
he debuted in ECW and he was going to pull his fucking dick out and piss in the middle of the ring.
See, so that's just my timeline being fucked up then. Because I thought the reason he became the loose cannon was because he shattered his ankle and he couldn't do the same type of things that he could.
You know what? You know what's another big what if? What if the pandemic never happened? What would wrestling be like in 2020?
You know, that's actually a really good one, because there was so much, like, experimental shit going on for both AEW and WWE.
We probably wouldn't have gotten half the shit. Stadium Stampede probably wouldn't have been a thing.
Oh, God, that was so
We
good.
probably wouldn't have gotten an exploding barbed wire death match. We probably wouldn't have gotten the Firefly Funhouse match. Like, what if WrestleMania 36... was going to be the original card? What if we got Roman versus Goldberg? Because that's what it was supposed to be. Like, well, all of that.
Here's a great fucking one that actually goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier today on the Facebook. What if AEW never fumbled Janela?
Yeah.
What if AEW never fucking didn't realize that they had fucking Joey Janela in their goddamn fucking hands?
What if Shawn Michaels never took a 4-year break from his back injury? Like, what if he never got injured? What if Daniel Bryan never retired? What if Edge never retired? There's just so many you can go on. Mm-hmm. But I think, like, the ones that everyone always goes to is obviously, what if WCW was never bought out, and what if ECW was never bought out? That's always, like, one of the big ones. Do you have any other ones that you can think about?
Off the top of my head, not necessarily. And again, my biggest one is always Guerrero. Always Guerrero.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, off the top of my head, I really, really can't. So, there's that.
Well, let's go into the next question here. Would you consider NXT a developmental brand or a third brand? So, is it on par with Raw and SmackDown, or is it a developmental brand? And this is what I am going to say. Now, 2024, it is a developmental brand. 2019 to 2021, NXT Black and Gold, third brand. It was on the same level as Raw and SmackDown. When I got switched over to NXT 2.0, that's when it became a developmental brand again. And it's still there.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely probably still say more so developmental brand. Which is weird because like they have their own performance center.
I love NXT.
But, you know, I feel like, oh my god, next week on Rampage, Christopher Daniels and Malachi Black? Oh, we have to watch Rampage.
Malachi Black's wrestling a singles match.
That is so fucking cool. I'm so excited about that. Oh, and a trios match announced for Dynasty, House of Black versus Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe. Alrighty, that's gonna be a fun one.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I would say developmental brand, which is kind of funny and crazy because like they have their own performance center, but it also kind of feels like that thing where like the people maybe more so in the performance center that are now kind of getting up there, they can kind of keep an eye on and watch over and, you know, help tweak things back and forth.
Oh yeah, that's the whole point.
Because NXT's filmed in Universal, right?
No.
No?
It's just filmed in Florida.
Oh, okay.
It's not Universal.
Oh, I thought it was.
No.
I thought it was in the Universal sphere now. Well, nonetheless, it's still stationed in one area.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's in a more confined, controlled environment.
It used to be at Full Sail.
Oh,
but now I forget where it's at. It's at the Performance Center. I forget exactly, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, no, I mean it's yeah.
This is a question that caught my eye because I was actually I was talking to you about this about a week ago. What is your honest opinion on intergender wrestling? So should I start because you know what I was gonna say.
I mean, sure, go for it.
I wanted to do an intergender match.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I think it's cool. Done in the right context and everything. I would love to do it because one, it not gonna lie, it would be challenging. It's different, but I like different. I like challenging myself. Not to give away stuff, but one of the most funnest matches I ever had was a tables match because how the fuck are you supposed to work a tables match? Like, the whole goal is putting your opponent through a table.
Yeah.
So, like, I like challenges like that and everything. So I think it would be cool because it's like, it's not frowned upon anymore.
Yeah.
GCW does it. So it would be cool.
I don't know if it necessarily would say it's challenging, though. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, I think intergender wrestling should be a thing. Like, I don't think that there's legitimately any sort of excuse that you can come up with for it not being. And, like, if you really want to use a man and a woman, they shouldn't be in the ring wrestling each other.
I mean challenging because do you take it to the point of you're gonna throw punches at a girl? Like, are you gonna, but, like, yes, it's wrestling, I get it, all of that, and everything. But, are you going to work a technical chain wrestling style match, then? Or are you gonna brawl? Like, that's the thing.
I think it just depends.
Like, what are you gonna do? Me, personally, I would like to have a straight-up technical masterpiece. I think that would be cool.
I think it just depends on whatever story you're running with and the type of style that each of you wrestle. So, I mean, like, for example, like, if I were to, I don't know, he's on my screen right now, so if I were to wrestle fucking Danielson, I mean, I could have a brawling match with Danielson, but I'm more so going to be looking at a technical match with him. Whereas if I'm going up against somebody like Eddie Kingston, I want Eddie Kingston to fuck me up. You know what I mean? So it just really depends. And I don't think that there's really any, like, you know, talking just wrestling in general, that there's any real line that you should cross there that you shouldn't cross, because, like, there's women in fucking death matches, you know, like, and it shouldn't be this, like, weird taboo area of, you know, oh, I don't think that we should cross these lines type of thing, because y'all paid your dues, or are paying your dues. You're all there for the same fucking reason, because you fucking love wrestling and you want to fucking wrestle, and you're there to put on a damn good fucking show. So, you know, go out there, fucking kill it, do your goddamn fucking best, and it shouldn't matter if you're a guy, a girl, a they, anywhere in fucking between. You know, have a damn good fucking match and have fucking fun doing it. And
I want to have a triple threat against a girl and a mini person.
a mini person?
A small person. I can't.
I didn't.
Hornswoggle.
I thought you were gonna say.
You can't say it. You gotta be politically correct.
No. I thought you were gonna say I want to have a trios match. It's me, a girl, and a they. And you didn't. And you're just like, you are just excluding the non-binaries. What the fuck is wrong with the they-thems? Goddamn, Dylan. A mini person is not a gender. That is not what we're talking about.
I think it would be a fun triple threat. That's all.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but that was not what we were talking about.
Hey ladies, hey fellas, and the people that don't give a fuck. Anyway.
Next question.
We got 2 more questions. These are more so pointed at me.
Well, wait, maybe 3, because Mark sent me one.
Oh, we can read that one.
Oh, I know it off the top of my head. It
Okay.
was a funny one. Is Kenny Omega a little bitch?
Yes.
He is, and I love him because of it.
Okay.
There you go.
What is your favorite match that you were in? So that's pointed at me.
Why can't I say things?
What was your favorite match that you were in?
I can't give it away because it didn't happen. The one where I was worried that I might have had to driven us home.
The first one?
Yeah.
The first match. I know I said tables match. I can't go full in depth with that, but that was a good one. Me versus Bryce was a good one. Because of the whole finish of, we did Bob Backlund and Bret Hart finish of the crossface chicken wing throwing in the towel, and Lyssie got the crossface chicken wing locked in on her. That also kind of leads into the next question, which is actually really funny. But I'm trying to think of other matches I had. I had a couple of really good hardcore matches. Everyone says that. Everyone always said that I was a good wrestler, but I was an even better hardcore wrestler because of the way I used weapons, and it wasn't, I'm going to go out there and hit you with these weapons. It was, I'm going to go out there and hit you with these weapons, but we're not going to do it right off the start. We're going to wrestle first and everything. And, I didn't even use the weapons as weapons at times. I would do the Sabu thing with a chair. Or, not throw it in their face. I mean, I would, but, I would put the chair down and step on it and... Shit, what other fucking matches I had? I'm not gonna lie, I had a very fun, and never seen the light of day, but I had a very fun Falls Count Anywhere match against Ivan, where we did the Edge and Mick Foley, minus the flaming table, but we had a table-involved finish. But I think what was very fun about that match was there was a kiddie pool involved. And Ivan attempted to drown me, and I make a funny noise trying to breathe. And then I threw him into the pool, and he got soaking wet.
Dude, he fucking flew, too.
And all you hear is his dad from the locker room go, he better have a fucking change of extra clothes, because I just threw him in the pool.
And the thing is, he, put his all into that. He flies,
bro,
dude.
And a little fun fact, we didn't have that planned at all. So we're working the next spot, and it's a Falls Count Anywhere match. And I just told Ivan, I was like, we're using the whole yard, because this yard is huge.
Yeah.
We're going everywhere, bro. We're going from the ring everywhere. And so we're on the outside of the ring, and we're getting closer to the kiddie pool, and I'm like, drown me. And he's like, okay. And then after that, he beats me up for a little bit and then pins me. I kick out, and then he grabs me and picks me up. He goes, reverse, throw me in pool. And I'm like, oh, bet.
He probably just wanted to go in the pool because it was hot as fuck that day.
Fuck.
He was like, I need an excuse. Which, honestly, I mean, by the time we left, his clothes were dry because it was so hot out. It was
hot
Dude,
as fuck.
I swear his clothes dried in 20 minutes.
The funny thing is, there was a day before we recorded a small house show, and we had and he had a team with his dad, and I had a team with Sifa, and we threw his dad, Chris, down the fucking slip and slide.
Yeah.
Also, another very fun match I had, it was from DCW. It was an all-champions triple threat. It was the world champion versus the all-American champion versus the 570 champion. That was a really good triple threat. Um, Another triple threat I had in New York was fun. Can't go into that. The whole New York run was fun.
I was gonna say also like the final in the which again I'm not gonna say anything.
The final in the New York feud. That's
was
a good
fun,
one.
Nerve-wracking on my end.
That's a good
but
one.
I still think the first one was fun for me. Even though I was petrified.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
I've had a lot of fun ones. I've had a lot of good ones.
I think that was my favorite because like now granted like I did stuff like, you know, you and Bryce and whatnot and got like a reaction and everything. But again, not saying anything, but I'll just say this much. The reaction.
That shit's wild.
The reaction that I got was like, to me, I was like, holy shit, dude, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
To the
so
point,
that was really cool.
To the point where, not to give away too much, once the match is released months from now, we'll talk about it and everything. But when
Bald Men Combat Club.
When the finish happens, when we're in the pinfall, we're both talking to each other, me and my opponent. We're both talking to each other and we're saying, we got them. Because we knew we had them. We got what we wanted out of it, and it was perfect. Fuck, I'm just reminiscing now. I'm trying to think of other fun ones. Another very fun one. It was a very short one. It was like 5 minutes long. Me versus Jacob Yeager with the pizza.
I was pulling pizza out of my ear for 20 minutes.
That was the most sports entertainment match I've ever fucking had. So
and I was like, what did the pizza do to you?
The whole point of this match was I did not want to defend my belt. I'm the owner of the company because I beat the owner. And I had to defend my belt against the main guy, the world's most powerful man in all of this. My partner, Bryce, is MIA and everything. So I go out. I try to pay Jacob Yeager off just to lay down and just take the fall. He doesn't do that. He throws me around. I get out of the ring. I take off my shirt to reveal that I'm wearing a Dusty Rhodes Pizza Man shirt. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And if you just type in Dusty Rhodes Pizza Man. Pizza Man, yes I am. I love this job. You sure can beat my prices, but you sure can't beat my meat. Anyway, I hit Jacob Yeager with a whole Nardone's pizza. Open it. Pizza goes everywhere. There's pizza all over him. There's pizza all over me. He beats the absolute shit out of me for 5 minutes. I go for a coast to coast. I get a garbage can thrown at me. The finish is wild. Jacob Yeager wins in a 5-minute match. The crowd loved it. It was wild.
And he was pulling. People still say he's pulling pizza out of his ear to this day.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you know about the whole Jacob Yeager stuff and everything. I've always had fun matches with him. I had a match in New York against him. That was very fun. And also, we had a 30-minute Ultimate Submissions match, and that was pure, like, chef's kiss. Like, that was perfect and everything. I had a lot of fun ones. I had a lot of fun ones.
He was always a great wrestler.
Yeah.
Always a great fucking wrestler.
I had a lot of fun ones. Another fun one that I had, it was actually after I came back after a long break I had, but I got to face, it's never gonna see the light of day unfortunately, but I got to face Novin, and that was cool. It was only like a 5-minute match, but there was a lot of inside jokes made during mine and Bryce's entrance about hamster food, which was very funny. We played rock, paper, scissors, shoot before the match, and Novin gave me a big boot. I almost broke my ankle in this match, fun fact, because the ceiling was so low in the building, and Novin picks me up for a tombstone and whacks my ankle off the fucking ceiling.
Trying to think, like, one of my favorite matches that I've recorded.
Yeah, like, what... Yeah,
well, it's so tough because...
What favorite match of, like, mine that you recorded have, like...
Like, I've recorded so many matches for you guys. So, like, honestly, it's even kind of hard to, like... really remember, like, because the ones outside of the ring were always really fucking hard. Because I'm one person. And like,
another one. I can I mean, I never cared, and I mean, it was obvious. But I had a secondary joke character called Juggalo Jesus, and we did a match called the Clusterfuck.
yeah.
Sorry, Joey. We didn't rip off like the Rumble, but it was just a big multi-man match because it was a clusterfuck. That was fun as shit.
I think I recorded Clusterfuck.
You did. That was the match where so there was a P tent.
yeah, that's right. I did because okay, so me and should I say his name?
We'll just say Spiderweb.
Yeah, so me and Spiderweb recorded it because we were like, there's so much going on. We need two people to be recording this. And so he was getting more of the action in the ring. And I was trying to get the action, I think, outside of the ring. Or no, I'm sorry, that was vice versa.
Bro, the whole match was outside the ring. The fuck you mean?
He was getting the shit outside the ring, I was getting the shit in the ring. And, like, I'm making sure, like, you know, he's getting some spots and whatnot. I'm looking in the ring. And as I'm looking through the camera, because when I record, I don't look at what I'm recording. I just look through the camera. I'm at the one side of the ring. Dylan is on the other side of the ring. So like, not in the ring, outside the ring. He's outside of the ring, like, parallel to me. And I'm looking through my camera. I'm not paying attention to what's going on of anything outside of my view. And in the camera, I just...
Oh, man, it's so fun. I think we have to find... I have the video.
I'll try to just get a picture of it. Yeah. I just see Dylan, who I don't think I realize is Dylan at this point, in this tent, this pop-up tent that we used as a piss tent, just slowly come into frame. In the distance, there's just this blue tent, like, just bouncing up and down, walking across the frame.
Bro, if you followed DCW in 2023, you would know that Juggalo Jesus was on the level of Dan Housen because it was so fucking over but ridiculous. Oh my god.
And I'm trying my ass off not to laugh because I always did my best to just, like, not be a person behind the camera making noise because that's not what I'm there for. I'm there to hold the camera, but I'm, like, biting my fucking tongue so hard.
I had everyone breaking, bro.
Because it was so fucking stupid. And I think the funniest thing, too, is you get out of the tent.
Yes.
You get out of the tent, and it's still popped up. But it's on the ground.
I spit Fago at Ivan through the little hole. Because there's a little
window.
hole.
He unzipped the window, spits Fago out at Ivan.
Ivan sells it like it's no tomorrow. He flat back bumps, rolls.
and he gets out of the tent, but the tent's still propped up. It's like just laying down, but it's still like open. And a guy that was also in this match, Stone, thinks Dylan's still in the tent. So what did he do? He dropped an elbow?
He just dove at it.
He dove at it, and no one's in there.
And mind you, I'm sitting there already because I'm just sitting there seeing what other people were doing because, like, I was kind of just purposely in this match just to pick spots because I was like, I know what I'm doing in this match, and that's just being an inconvenience. Stone tackles this fucking thing, looks at me and goes, "You weren't in there?" I'm like, "Nope."
It's just... It was so stupid. The whole fucking thing was so stupid. And is that also the same match where you got into the middle of the ring and told everyone to stop fighting?
Oh yeah, that was the whole finish of the match. I get in the middle of the ring as everyone's fighting, and I go, "Stop it!" And I go, "You want Fago?" And I get my ass handed to me.
You get Superman punched, right?
Yeah. So, I'll give it a little secret. Juggalo Jesus was not supposed to have so many appearances in DCW in 2023. He was just supposed to make appearances here and there. So, we were doing this gauntlet match to open the season for the 570 title, and we needed, like, bodies in it. And I was like, okay, Juggalo Jesus can make, like, a 2-minute appearance. Like, I'm gladly will be Juggalo Jesus. So I do that. But I got such a fucking good reaction as Juggalo Jesus where it was like, fuck, he needs to come back. So I had a 3-way dance with Pavor and JB Havoc, and you guys, you were in the crowd for that. Everyone was on fire for that. And then I had, as Juggalo Jesus, I had a Falls Count Anywhere match with Cheeks, and everyone loved that. So it pretty much came down to, okay, he needs to stay for a little bit. So we did this whole thing. It never got to properly get its finish because of DCW closing its doors, but Juggalo Jesus became a tag team partner of Chaos the Clown because Chaos the Clown had to be a big brother to Juggalo Jesus.
No,
it was such a wild dynamic.
One of my favorite things that needed to make more of an appearance, but I understand. Smooch.
Oh my god, Smooch was so great.
Smooch was so good, dude. Like, and the funniest thing was just watching Cheeks walk around in those fucking platforms trying to get the hang of it.
Oh my god.
And he was like, I think he was like, "Listen, can you teach me how to walk in these?" And I was like, "Dude, good luck. I don't even fucking know what I'm doing in them."
Good.
Like, that was so fucking good.
I might have to get Juggalo Jesus for one more time. Which, speaking of one more time, that goes into my next question because someone asked me, and I guess I gotta answer. So you're wrestling at one more time? Yes.
I'm not happy about it.
I'm doing it.
I'm gonna be so fucking straight up. I am so not happy about it.
I'm wrestling at one more time.
But the people that you'll be with,
no, we're keeping kayfabe. Bryce Van Pelt is a fucking asshole. And whoever his tag partner is, fuck him.
I trust them. And I know you'll be fine. And I know that there'll be precautionary measures taken.
No, but in all seriousness, it's a tag match. I'm not gonna be doing much.
Yeah, so I know you'll be fine, but I'm still not thrilled about it.
This is to give not only me, not only Bryce, but everyone that has been following the Bryce and Danny Vallow, Dilvon saga story. It gives everyone closure of, we were supposed to have this match. It never happened. This is the best thing we can do for one more time. I'm putting this show together. So we came up with this whole thing. We're going to break down the storyline once this show happens and everything. We'll go into full detail and have like a behind the scenes breakdown and whatnot. But yes, I'm going to have... this is my last match. And whoever Bryce picks as his tag partner, I mean, I already know who it is, but I'm just keeping kayfabe.
My video is public, right?
Yes.
So we can talk about it?
Yes.
All right.
We'll get that in a second. Hold on.
Okay.
But whoever Bryce picks as his partner, I already know who it is. But my partner is Noah Maverick, and my partner Noah and Bryce's partner, they are technically kind of like the new generation of me and Bryce, where they're brothers, they fight, they go their separate ways, they come back together. That's been the story of me and Bryce for 10 years. So, the pass the torch, that's what we're doing. It's going to be a fun time. I'm excited that I get to have closure. And, I mean, I was, for the first half of my career, kind of comes full circle. The first half of my career, I was strictly a tag team wrestler. So, ending my career, like my last match being a tag team match, will be cool. Don't be expecting the same Dilvon of a few years ago or Danny Vallow from a few months ago even. It's going to be different. I'm not in ring shape. I can still throw a punch. I can still kick. Don't expect a Crowley bomb. Don't expect me doing a suicide dive. Don't expect any of that. Probably, if you watched right before I got injured, I started doing Hulk Hogan's moveset. Expect that. Expect that more. So I expect Stone Cold's moveset. But like I said, am I done wrestling? Yes. Absolutely. After this, I'm done wrestling. I'm not. That this is my goodbye from wrestling itself, but I'm not against being a commentator. I'm not against being a manager. I'm not against being like a general manager type character, like a non-physical role. Hell, even if I got to be somewhat physical, I'm not against having a funny, like, we got to do a ha-ha comedy match where I don't, like, you don't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not against that. I guess I'm a sports entertainer now. Anyway, yes, that's pretty much all the questions. Let's talk about the video.
Fuck you, Dylan.
Don't go full in detail because I do want to break down this video eventually once, like, everything is out to the open.
Fuck you, Dylan, for making me make this goddamn fucking saga of a video.
It's a saga, bro.
It is so long.
It's on my YouTube. It is called Dark Side of KWA Money and Power, and it's literally a mini episode of Dark Side of the Ring, but in my version of what I wanted to do with me and Bryce to tell this whole story.
And I made the whole goddamn thing.
Lyssie, yes, let's give artists their credit.
Yeah.
Lyssie edited this whole thing. What I mean is, what you see in this video is what was in my mind.
Yeah, it was Dylan's idea and format.
It's Dylan's brainchild, but Lyssie has more patience to edit.
And a little bit of better editing skills.
Yes, I'm not the best editor. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm a shitty editor.
I've not that this is any credentials necessarily, but I used to have a few YouTube channels back in the day, and I was doing YouTube stuff back in like middle school into high school type of thing. Wasn't anything ever really crazy, but, you know, I was a nerd, so I used to make AMVs a lot. So when I was making AMVs, you know, you kind of learn some tips and tricks, and you kind of get the eye for things and kind of understand things, even in the years of middle school and whatnot. Are you Googling what an AMV is?
No.
Okay. But... So, like, you know, as you do things, as you get there, you kind of learn, and you kind of, you know, get the feel for things. Of course, I've never been to school for any sort of editing, anything like that. I don't have any sort of degrees, anything like that. Just personal experience from making YouTube videos at a young age, and putting things together and using programs and shit. So, you know, again, I'm nowhere near the best. There's people that are on Twitter that make, you know, fan edits way better than anything I could ever imagine doing, and, you know, the one that always comes to my mind is Tiger Style Pro. He always does the cooler, I'm actually not sure of pronouns, but they always do the coolest fucking shit. So, you know, I don't know how they do it, but it always looks fucking phenomenal. But nonetheless, this is like an extremely long fucking video, and it took me a long time to get things perfect and to get things exact, and, you know, it was treacherous. It was a treacherous one. But we got there, and I'm happy with the results of it. And I hope Dylan is also happy with the results.
I was happy with it. It was nice. I liked it. I really don't have to give like a specific reason as to why I picked the song that I picked that's in there, that's featured in there.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense perfectly. But yeah, I'm excited for this event coming up. I'm excited for this match coming up. It's coming together very well. I pretty much have the match card made too, and there's gonna be some cool matches. Do you have any questions like that you want to ask about one more time? Maybe people are wondering, or I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily really have any, and that I think is mainly just because I've been so much in the loop about everything that's been going on.
Yeah, you've been in the loop.
So, I mean, I don't really know of what too much to ask exactly, because I know everything.
It's gonna be a fun time. We don't know what's gonna stem from it. I'm not, obviously me, I'm not expecting anything to go full time. If the boys that are on the show want something to stem from it, then that's good for them. Me and Bryce, like the break kayfabe. We already joked and was like, I don't think this is gonna be the only show. And I was like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I would love to do another show, but where it's kind of like a Joey Janela Spring Break, where it's just a bunch of fucked up random matches. And like I said to Bryce, I was like, if you followed me and Bryce, you know this character called Insane, AC Insane Barry. I was like, Bryce, what if me and AC Insane Barry had an 80s style match? Shit like that, like random fucked up. Like Bryce, I think said like him versus Dabbing Jay in an Ultimate Submissions match, like shit like that.
I want to face someone in a chairs match.
A chairs match.
But yeah, I miss Bryce.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the questions and everything. So that can we can go right into Dylan's Wrestler of the Week.
This has been a long one today.
It's been a long one. Been a long one. It's a chill episode though. Dylan's Wrestler of the Week though. Who did I pick for Wrestler of the Week? Well, since it is WrestleMania season.
Oh God.
And we are on the road to WrestleMania.
Oh God.
I had to pick Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, okay.
The Heartbreak
right.
Kid. Shawn Michaels.
I really thought you were gonna be like Cody or Roman, and
No.
I'm like, I'm gonna fucking.
No, we're talking about the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Heartbreak bitch, Shawn Michaels.
You think I'm cute? No, I'm sexy.
Okay,
Ask me questions about Shawn Michaels. Let's go.
What's your first introduction to Shawn Michaels?
Oh man, when he was in DX in like 2006.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him. Dude was funny. They were making cock jokes on TV. They were making dick and fart jokes on TV. Fucking penis pump and shit. Like, what the fuck? Shit coming down from the ceiling? What the fuck?
So, like, what would you say? I mean, okay, you kind of answered, but, like, go in a little bit more detail of, like, when you first saw Shawn Michaels, and, like, what were you thinking as, like, a kid? Were you just
this
like,
guy's
oh my
funny
God,
as fuck.
this guy is just fucking great?
This guy's funny as shit. He has poop coming down from the ceiling.
I can't believe that, like, I did not... I mean, I'm sure I saw it back in the day, but again, completely forgot about it. But the Stan thing... Was his name Stan?
Oh
I
yeah,
just
kicked Stan. Them dressing up as the McMahons too was funny. Ask me more questions about Shawn.
What is your favorite Shawn Michaels match?
My favorite Shawn Michaels match. Wow. Ooh. See, that's a tough one because he's had a lot of good ones. He's had a lot of good ones. Fuck. Honestly, him versus Triple H, Bad Blood 03, I believe it was. It's a 3 Stages of Hell match.
Okay.
Really fucking good. Or also him versus Triple H at SummerSlam 02, his return match. Oh, fuck. He was electric that night. Him versus Ric Flair from Mania, electric. Undertaker, obviously. Brett in the Iron Man match, obviously. Oh, fuck, man. He's... Fuck. Shawn Michaels. Razor.
Aside from... Because I don't know if you would say this or not, so I'm just going to clarify. Aside from the clear, ongoing rivalry with DX and the McMahons and Vince McMahon and everything, who would you say your favorite rivalry with Shawn Michaels was?
Bret Hart.
Okay. Yeah, I feel... Okay.
It was real.
I had a feeling that is honestly where you were going to go with it.
It was real.
But I just
That's
wanted to be like, not going off of the DX one, because obviously that was like a little bit closer to like our time type of thing. And
This was real, the best thing ever. I mean, it ended with the Montreal Screwjob, which, fuck that. But it was good.
What would you say like your favorite Shawn Michaels moment is? Because I feel like he's had a lot of like
him overselling Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam. Cause what the fuck? He didn't give a shit. Bro, that is the best fucking I don't give a fuck performances ever. He did not give a single shit that night. He said, You're not gonna fucking put me over. This is the only fucking match we're having, brother. Watch this.
If you could take prime Shawn Michaels and drop him into today's current wrestling, who would you want to see him wrestle?
CM Punk.
Give me 3 people.
Cody Rhodes.
Okay. 3.
I'm trying to think of another one. Him and Triple H versus the Young Bucks.
Like him and Triple H in their prime.
DX versus the Young Bucks.
DX versus Bootleg DX because they dressed up as DX
Yes.
once.
DX
Or I
versus
think it was SmackDown.
DX versus the Young Bucks would also be really cool. And I only say Punk and Shawn because I think it would just be very funny because Punk can play the Bret Hart.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Dee Dee. I just woke you up. I just hit. I don't know if that caught on the microphone, but I was just tapping the back of the bed frame and it sounded like someone was knocking. Have you ever watched Shawn Michaels' fishing show?
No.
Do you have any interest in watching Shawn Michaels' fishing show?
I don't think so.
I kind of do. Not gonna lie. I kind of want to go fishing with Shawn Michaels. And I'm really interested in seeing what it's all about. I don't know why. I'm probably so fucking incorrect. But, like, I just have this feeling that it's, like, a Bob Ross show. Where, like, you're just... I could just see it being, like, a 30-minute long episode of just sitting on this boat with Shawn Michaels. And he's like, oh, I'm reeling one in. Oh, it's a big one. And that's it. And it's just, like, this chill, relaxing show of just Shawn Michaels on a boat. And I could be so fucking wrong because we've never watched it.
Lucy, what's your opinions on Shawn Michaels?
I've always loved Shawn Michaels. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I understand that this is a Bret Hart house, but this house is always going to have a place for Shawn.
I've always preferred Bret Hart over Shawn Michaels because I just love Bret Hart. But I also love Shawn Michaels. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy watching Shawn Michaels.
I think I just like Bret Hart a little bit more in my older age because he's a petty bitch and I love that.
Yes.
Because I'm also nothing short of a petty bitch.
Fun fact, I almost ordered a Shawn Michaels shirt yesterday. It was a Shawn Michaels and Diesel shirt, 2 dudes with attitudes. I have that link saved because I will probably eventually order that because it is a fucking cool as fuck
That reminds
shirt.
me that I need to find a Chinese Shawn Michaels shirt. I'm not adding context. No context is being added to that. But calm down, stop screaming.
Oh man, I need another cigarette.
Well, that sucks for you, dude, because we're still talking about Shawn Michaels.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, like, kind of actually going back to your Triple H and Michaels versus the Bucks, like thinking about, because obviously the Bucks are Shawn Michaels guys, so that would be really fucking fun.
It's just such a random match that I think would be really fun.
That would be so fun. They'd be throwing there'd be so many super kicks and Triple H would just be sitting in the middle of it like, what do I do? What do I do? What is happening? Everyone's using their feet. But no, I've always loved Shawn Michaels. Again, like growing up, like Shawn Michaels was always a big staple name in my house because, you know, everyone in my family loved Shawn Michaels. You know, I have this weird inkling, and you know what? Maybe I'll ask my dad tomorrow at Easter dinner. Which, reminder, one of my nannies tomorrow. But
Italian Easter.
Yeah, Italian Easter.
Whoa.
I have this weird inkling that my dad might have been more of a Bret Hart guy.
I'll pop hard tomorrow.
Because, like,
I will pop.
fun
We're
little,
asking your dad this tomorrow because I will pop so hard.
Fun little story, right? Like, I remember when I was a kid growing up.
Listen, if your dad's a Bret Hart guy, I might propose to you right then and there.
You're going to propose to my dad.
No, I might just propose to you right then and there and be like, I am now your son-in-law.
But like, so I remember growing up as a kid, and we would always be talking about like wrestling and wrestlers and whatnot, and I don't know why stuff like this just sticks out in my brain as a kid, but like, I remember when we'd always be talking about wrestling and wrestlers that we liked, and I was very young, like probably like 4 or 5, and I remember this shit. And my dad would just be naming off wrestlers and being like, oh yeah, like, you know, like, and I always remember him saying, in this specific tone, Bret, the Hitman Hart. Always, whenever he referred to Bret Hart, he always said it like that. And I don't think I ever, in my brain, never remember him saying anything like in that same fun tone about like Shawn Michaels. That doesn't mean he doesn't like Shawn Michaels, but it always puts so much emphasis on it. And he also always would he would always say Rob Van Dam, and I remember whenever me and my brother would say Rob Van Dam and we were younger, he'd be like, "What did you just say?" And I'm like, "That's his name, Dad. It's his name."
I remember, speaking of like parents in wrestling, my mom always hated Randy Orton.
Because he was a little asshole. He was a little dick.
I think I told the story of like my dad fucking losing his mind over CM Punk's straight edge
what
promo.
The fuck is with this guy?
Yeah.
What's this bozo saying?
Yeah. Oh man, it's great.
Like, oh god, give me a break. But yeah, I feel like I should ask my dad that. I'd be like, Dad, between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, who were you the bigger fan of?
I will pop hard.
Because I have a feeling it was Bret Hart, and I don't know if it was, okay, look, maybe I shouldn't be saying this. I'm going to say this. I don't know if maybe my mom's appreciation, to say the least, of Shawn Michaels had any influence on my father, as to maybe why he might be more of a Bret Hart guy. But, I don't know. I just, again, it's not that he didn't like Shawn, but yeah, I feel like I should ask him that. But yeah, again, I mean, I'm getting so sidetracked, I'm sorry, but the one thing that, like, I mean, of course, Shawn Michaels was funny, and I always say, I love comedy in wrestling. Comedy has such a good fucking place in wrestling, and obviously, DX was a huge fucking point in that statement. But aside from just the comedy and the funny stuff, I always remember, like, being so infatuated with Shawn Michaels' gear, specifically, and I don't even know if this is the right...
What's his favorite gear? Your favorite gear of his?
I don't know if this is the right terminology for it, so I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I always call it the mirror gear, where it was like the black and red one, it had like those little circles
I know what you're talking about.
On it.
Yes.
And it was just very like reflective.
Yes.
And I always, and like the little chains on the side, and it was so fucking cool. And that's hands down my favorite Shawn Michaels gear.
I have two Shawn Michaels gear.
Okay.
His 90s DX gear, where it's just the black tights, and it has the hearts, but it has the green X over the hearts. Perfect. And also his WrestleMania 25 gear against The Undertaker, all white. It's literally Undertaker gear, but white. And it's beautiful.
I also just love that Shawn Michaels had chaps.
Yeah.
And I will, like, die on the hill that chaps need to be in wrestling more.
Also, Shawn with the rockers with Marty Jannetty, even though he still can't walk, I enjoyed the rockers always. I fucking love the rockers. Fucking love them always. I love Shawn Michaels. I'm not getting, like, bro, Shawn Michaels was cool.
Mm-hmm. And also just, I mean, I very clearly, like, this doesn't need to be said, but just to say it, like, just fucking incredible in the ring. So fucking good.
My favorite, I think, like, I guess the Shawn Michaels phase hardcore that I went through in my wrestling, like, when I used influence of Shawn, not only was the Sunset Strip Stallion gimmick, but also when we were doing the Keystone Alliance. Because that was a straight ripoff of DX and the NWO.
Yeah.
Of how everyone was portrayed in that group. Mm-hmm. So that was a whole thing, and I always loved DX version of Shawn Michaels because what a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, no, of course, like, my favorite Shawn's going to be DX Shawn.
Yeah.
Like, just hands down. Again, I love comedy wrestling. And also just, I feel like watching Shawn wrestle, the only time I never had a smile on my face watching Shawn Michaels was when it was Brothers of Destruction.
We don't talk about that.
DX.
We don't talk about that.
Because that never needed to happen. But
no, it needed to happen, but not in
like
2008. Yeah, not when Shawn Michaels and Triple H are fucking bald.
Yeah, like, it didn't need to happen when it happened, type of thing. So
it needed to happen in fucking 1998.
Yeah, so that was definitely the only time ever watching him I wasn't necessarily smiling. But no, like, I even though Shawn was a dick in his younger years, like, I never heard anything really bad about Shawn Michaels to the point where he is, like, a piece of shit who, like, you know, is like Kane. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something
That's
like
gotta
that.
be-
You know, it was, and I'll be more forgiving of people that, in their earlier years, partying, doing whatever, are little egotistical pricks, and then grow up and, you know, are humbled and whatnot. Which, what?
I want to go for a cigarette.
Oh my god. Okay. But yeah. So, you know, love Sean. Will always love Sean. The only person that can ruin Sean for me is Sean. With that being said, Dylan, I think that wraps us up because you are so fucking fiending for nicotine.
This episode was a long one, man.
It was a long
It was a marathon.
But any final thoughts?
He's a boy toy.
He's not your boy toy.
Watch your heart out, girls.
Hands off the merchandise.
Anyway, let's see. Where the fuck can you find us
All right.
on social media?
Well, if you want to follow the podcast because for some reason you stuck it out this long to the end, you can find us on Instagram at Talkin Wrasslin Pod. That is TALKIN_WRASSLIN_POD. If, for whatever godforsaken reason, you want to follow me on any of my social media platforms, you can find me on Twitter and TikTok at the same nope, not TikTok. You can, but not at the same handle. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the same handle, which is Lungbucks Longtar. This has been a long episode. Okay, we're restarting. Okay, hi, hello, my name's Lyssie, and if for some reason you still think that you want to follow me and think that I'm a coherent person, here's where you can find me. You can find me at Longtar, that is LUNG_TAR on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram, I don't post a whole hell of a lot aside from on my stories. Post a lot about wrestling and shoes and whatnot and artwork on there. Over on Twitter, it's pretty much the same thing, predominantly wrestling, predominantly the Young Bucks. A lot about AEW. I've been posting my artwork a lot more lately. And as of course, the past week, I'm posting a lot about the situation with Shiningpolaris that we discussed at the very beginning of this very long episode. So, you know, I will be keeping updated on that because I'm not going to stay silent on it. But if you want to follow me on TikTok and see my face along with my voice, which fucking God bless your soul because I'm a train wreck, that's where you can find me at Lungbucks. That is LUNG_BUCKS. It's a pun on the Young Bucks because I'm a stupid fucking mark. Again, made a video about the Shiningpolaris situation over there. We did discuss it a little bit more in depth on here, but please, I've never really asked this. If you made it to the end, please go share that video out. If you just repost it on TikTok, if you share it on Twitter, wherever, just to kind of spread the awareness on multiple platforms to bring light to the situation. With that being said, Dylan, I've talked too much. I never shut up. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Danny Vallo, DANI_line Vallo, VALO_line. I'm posting a lot about the One More Time show on there and everything, and just living my life and whatnot. And we'll put the link in the bio of the video that me and Lyssie were talking about, that Lyssie edited and everything, so people can watch that and kind of understand what the fuck. And also, cheap plug, you can subscribe to the channel too, because that's my YouTube, and that's where the show is going to be, and I would appreciate it if you guys check out everything, because there's other promos on there from other people on there and everything. I'm not going to lie, would like to get some of the guys that, like, are on that show, maybe on this podcast, to interview them. If that happens, cool. If it doesn't, that's whatever. Bryce would be a fun one, I'm not going to lie.
Bryce, get your candy ass down here again.
Bryce would be a fun one. But anyway, yeah. So follow me on Instagram. Twitter is whatever. I don't care. If you found me on Twitter, it's probably because I've been talking about this whole Shiningpolaris thing. And
I've been sharing a lot of the stuff you've been posting too.
yeah, we've been sharing back and forth. This is probably the most I've been active on Twitter in a while. That, like, what I mean by active, not just reposting something of a Jushin Thunder Liger highlight reel.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm just on there, living my life and everything. But I would appreciate, obviously, sharing, getting the word out about the whole Shiningpolaris thing, because that shouldn't go like unearthed or anything like that. Like that should be shared around and should be noticed, and justice should be served. I don't know how to word it. Like justice should be served.
The people that have been affected by this the most deserve they might not fully get closure because of the type of person we're talking about, but they deserve for their voices to be heard, and they deserve to get some sort of justice. And if it takes talking about this for months and months and months until something's finally fucking done, then so goddamn fucking be it.
And the last thing I'll say on this, to close the book. You open the book, I'll close the book. I've said it to you, and I've said it to multiple people on Twitter. So the people that are sitting there blaming themselves of like how dumb am I that I didn't see this, like I was friends with her, like I'm dumb for this and everything. No, you're not. It's not your fault. It was none of your guys' faults but hers. It's all her fault. No one knew. I barely knew the girl, and I still feel away because like I've seen her tweets. My girlfriend Lyssie talked to her, was friends with her, and everything. So I understand how you guys are feeling, but don't blame yourselves. No one knew that this was gonna fucking spiral this way that it did. So don't blame yourselves. Don't kick yourselves. Just move on. Like I know that's hard, and like I know that can kind of sound like kind of being like a dick, like oh just move on, but just remember that you guys are the better people than her is kind of the best way to put it. But yeah, if you stuck around for this whole episode, you guys are fucking troopers. Let's see, take us out.
Alright guys, well, thank you so much for watching. I'm probably going to be the host next week, so we'll see how chaotic next week's episode is. Because, my god, do I never know what the fuck I'm doing. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Tune into our previous episodes.
And next week's episodes, like I said, will be a two-parter because we'll be reviewing Raw before Mania, SmackDown, Mania weekend, all of that fucking shit.
You fucked on me. You're making me the host of this shit? Of all this wrestling?
Yes.
Guys, I'm so sorry. This is going to be the most, this is going to be so non-coherent. I am so sorry. This is going to be terrible. Anyway, if you want to see the train wreck next week, make sure to like, subscribe, share out our channel. And again, we will see you next time for Mania Weekend. Goodbye.